Which one of you accused me of being late? I'm having too much fun showing the comments. I got to tell Trigger Smart, order up a 5-minute one so I can keep playing the comments during the show. Bienvenido to our Spanish-speaking brethren. Welcome in. Guys, we got a banger of a show lined up for you tonight. We're going to double down. We're going to address the critics, but we're going to double down on the 9/11 timeline. We are going to, Andrew's foreign military ties. Yeah, we're going to get to that. I do want to explain the Rumble situation. I'm not streaming live to Rumble for the near future. I'm trying to work something out over there where it can happen again, but in the near term, this is going to be your live streaming option. I will upload to Rumble the next day. I will upload to, like we've been doing, Spotify the next day as well. There's another one I think we upload, Apple maybe, but it doesn't have video. It's just audio. But yeah, we'll get that done. So welcome in. We have a oh my gosh, I gotta tell you, I'm sick. I was gonna do a show last night. I was too sick to do it. I feel a little better today. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. If I sneeze, I'm gonna die because I have so much pressure in my sinuses on this side of my head and on into the back middle of my head. If that means I'm going to die, don't tell me. I don't need to know. Strike the like button on your way in, ladies and gentlemen. Just give it a little tap. And if you are not a subscriber, do I still have the poll up? I need to pull that poll down probably. I had a poll up asking if you were already a subscriber, if you subscribed tonight, or if you were rage watching as a hater. Well, we found out 96% of people we got a little over 3,000 votes. 96% of people subscribed before today. 2% just subscribed. So it worked. And then we have 3% who are just rage watching. They are not at all fans of the program. They're just rage watchers. So I want to start this way. I've got to address a critical gap in thinking skills that I think this latest issue with Tyler Robinson's, was he arrested on 9/11? Thursday, was he arrested on September 12th? When was he Mirandized? I've discovered something that I didn't know existed. And it's caused me a great deal of grief, personal grief. And I've got 4 or 5 examples I'm going to pull up today. But I feel like we're up against a dishonest class of people. And I had not yet had a way to articulate it. I sensed it in my being. I think a lot of you sensed it in your being when they were saying they're 100% convinced Tyler Robinson pulled off the crime of the century to date. I mean, it's only 2026, but I mean, it's 2026. The crime of the century to date, solo, by himself, with Granddaddy's 30-06, a single strike from the Losi Center, ditched the gun, forgot to go get back and get it for whatever reason, knowing he only was going to take one shot or only have time for one shot. He engraved 4 bullets for some unknown reason with memes that would link directly back to him. He confessed to absolutely everyone he would know. And then he gave a blanket confession very late, according to their timeline, right before he turned himself in. And in the meantime, they disregard the fact that the last 12 to 15 months of Charlie Kirk's life had been fighting our greatest ally, had been staring down a foreign adversary and the adversary's greatest supporters. And all of these things, I tried to point it out on my timeline at the last show, all of these things were taking place, all of these things were building up, parallel to what the Fed sloppers want us to believe is Tyler Robinson planning and executing this by himself. And wow, wasn't our greatest ally lucky that they were spending hundreds of millions, maybe billions of dollars in American propaganda, and the one person who would probably make all of that money a waste just happened to die in the middle of the plan. What a fortuitous set of circumstances. And so I was going through this scenario in my head, and I was winding through this and thinking, why is it that people on the other side just refuse to see it? Well, when we came across the video we came across, or the documents we came across that itemized the video, if you didn't see Thursday's show, you're going to need to see it to understand a lot of what we're going to talk about today. I don't want to go back through all of it just to set it up because it was an 1.5 hour long show. And I don't want to do a 3-hour show tonight. I'm sick. Don't feel good. But we have we discovered that the video showing the 6:25 p.m. Miranda time is identified in court documents as having taken place in Washington County on the evening of September 11th. That's Bates stamp number 3996. It's inconceivable to me. It would go against all standard discovery practice that video would include two different videos from two different counties from two different dates. You just wouldn't do that in Discovery. Each video gets its own bait stamp. That's the nature of bait stamping. You do that so that you can identify source documents. You wouldn't say, well, here's a compilation video, because then you would have to describe, okay, well, from minute 12 to minute 17, that's in Utah County. From minute 4 to minute 12, that's in Washington County. Where was minute 0? I mean, you wouldn't do that. You just wouldn't do that. You would that's the whole point of bait stamping. Each source gets its own number. It just does. That's all there is to it. And so we discovered what I thought was pretty bulletproof evidence that Tyler Robinson was Mirandized at 6:25 p.m. on the evening of September 11th. It was cut and dry to me. I didn't think there would be a lot of pushback. What I expected to find were people on the other side saying, well, that doesn't fit with our narrative, but let's consider it. Let's reevaluate. And perhaps, I almost expected them to say, well, perhaps he still had his phone for whatever reason after he was Mirandized. He was not under arrest. Obviously, if they were giving him his Miranda warnings, he probably wasn't free to go at that point. Custodial interrogation are the two elements of requiring a Miranda warning. Are you in custody? Meaning, are you free to go? If the answer to that question is yes, you are in custody and you're being interrogated, you have to be Mirandized. So I kind of expected that to be the response. Instead, what we got was I'll show it. I've got several examples tonight I want to go through. A total disregard of all logic, a total disregard of all reality, a total disregard of all legal norms. And from some lawyers too. It's not just like, Paramount Impractical. It's not just these low budget podcasters who get a couple hundred people on each show. I'm talking about some high level, thoughtful, decent attorneys who have practiced for many years. They also are either ignoring it or they're explaining it away some illogical way. So I want to go through some of those examples because what I think it revealed to me, not what I think it revealed to me, what it did reveal to me is the people on the other side of this investigation are not honest actors. They can't possibly believe these things. Just like when they said Erica was with her kids on September 8th. And now they're backtracking from that. They're dishonest actors. They have to be dishonest actors. They need to come back and say, yeah, we did say she was with her kids. They lied to us. We were under that impression. We've now since found out those were not her kids. We're talking about the picture with the lady with the plump finger that's over the kids' faces. We were misled and we apologize. But there's no humility. Like tonight, one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to correct, not because people brought it to our attention, not because there's a ruckus, but we made an error last week. And I'm going to spend the second part of the show correcting that error because I want to be accurate. I want to be right. I want to build credibility with the audience. I want to build credibility with people who follow the show. When we say something, we are either right or we believe we're right. We are not BSing you to advance a narrative. And I've begun to believe the people on the other side of this are BSing you because they want to push a certain narrative. Oh, before I get into all that, I meant to say this to the beginning. The member show will be Friday at the normal time, 1-ish, probably, maybe as late as 2, but probably around 1 o'clock. I'm having Dre from the Dre dossier. She's going to come in and talk about some of the videos she's done on the White House ballroom, which Candace made very relevant tonight. I'm not going to cover her show tonight. I might hit at it tomorrow, but Candace's show tonight was a bombshell relative to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, relative to what I told you almost immediately. That looked fake. What the Erica crying, running off, that looked fake. And I think we're getting close to the fact that, yeah, it was in fact fake. So that will be Friday. We'll talk about that Friday on the member show. If you are not a member, you are not going to want to miss that show. I think I've covered Dre Dossier's videos on one member show and one regular show. She's great. She's fantastic. And getting the opportunity to talk to her instead of just getting like a 20 or 30 minute summary, but getting an idea to pull some of the information out of her, to ask her questions, follow up. How did you get here? I want to know her thought process. I want to know what got her into this. So we're going to do a real deep dive with her Friday, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I meant to say that before I got into the content portion of this show. If you're not a member, you're going to want to be a member by Friday. If you are a member, you can go back and watch past shows with people like Coach Colin and Zach Costello and Danks. And the Danks show was great. Oh my gosh, it was such a good member show last week. So anyway, now let me get right into the meat of the program tonight, because what we have is, let me see how to pull this up there. What we have here is a series of responses from what we discussed Let me see the best way to do this. From what we discussed last week, or excuse me, Monday. What we discussed Monday, and it's it's frankly concerning. It's frankly very concerning. So let me get my calendar notification out of the way, and I will get this sized up so it's as big as you guys can possibly see it. So just to clarify, just to remind you, what we covered last week, or I keep saying last week because last night we had the day off. What we covered Monday was that the video marked 3996, base stamp 3996, was revealed in a court document recently to have been recorded on September 11. We then went back and looked, well, has this 3996 ever been referenced before? And it had. It had been referenced back in March, and we covered it in early April. And that 3996 that had been discussed in March was the very same video where they said Tyler Robinson was Mirandized at 6:25 p.m. And so that's the setup. Here are the different ways that people chose to respond to this. It was frankly shocking. Here's the first argument that people have chose to do. It's called the splice. I'm calling this one the splice. This is from Mel, the Village Crazy Lady. Says, so looks like they're going with, and hopefully I get this right, and this is a nice little summary. The prosecutors took the video of Tyler at 9/11 at the Washington County Sheriff's Office and then spliced it on to a video of him invoking his right to counsel in Utah County on the evening of September 12th. And they made those two separate surveillance videos from two separate police stations, and I would add from two separate days and two separate counties. And they split apart again for the purpose of the presentation in court. That is what some of these people are arguing. And she has Paramount Impractical here. She has his explanation of this. The Candace cult is twisting themselves into pretzels to convince you Tyler Robinson was in custody. It'll 6:25 p.m. on the 11th. Well, I don't think we're twisting ourselves in pretzels. We're just reading the evidentiary document and following normal legal procedures. Here's another person, Trader Jill, who said, oh, wow, so close. You found two clips stamped R1 and R2, both 3996, and declared them the exact same video. Newsflash, detective, in discovery, the R1 is the prosecutor's intentionally edited 25-second clothing snippet. R2 is a separate export that actually contains the 625 Miranda invocation. And this is where they're wrong. Different suffixes equal different productions. That's not true. That's not true. So what they've done is they're having to ignore legal norms. These are people who either don't practice law or are being dishonest about how the practice of law is done. This is not the way legal practice is done. You would never take the same bait stamp video, label it something else, splice something onto it, and present it as one video. That would never happen. I've never seen it happen. Let me say that. And I consulted many lawyers before going with that Monday. They all said the same thing. Two different counties, 2 different days. No way you would do that the same video. That absolutely is going to have 2 different bait stamps, 100% of the time. And so I was confident when I came in and explained that on Monday. But this is argument 1, the splice. They're telling you that they've combined 2 videos into one video. So that's argument 1. Here's argument 2. The second argument, I'm going to call the nuh-uh argument. Here's nuh-uh argument. This is argument 2. That was on the 12th. This is what the motion to exclude cameras document is referencing. The interrogation occurred on September 12th. Barron scammed all of you again. But then he doesn't provide any evidence that that's the case. I read this whole thing. There's nothing that says that this was September 12th, except they said on the evening of his arrest. And then they go on and they show that I don't even know what they're trying to show here. They're just saying nuh-uh. It's as if it's like arguing with a 5-year-old. It's like arguing with a 5-year-old or a low IQ individual where they just say the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And sometimes they get a little louder when they say it. Oh, he was arrested on the 12th. Well, here's documentary evidence that he was arrested on the 11th, but he was arrested on the 12th. Yeah, I know, but don't you see that the video was recorded on the 11th? Yeah, but he was arrested on the 12th, so that video doesn't, that interpretation doesn't make sense. I'm back to the fancy mason jar, by the way. This is what happens when you get a summer cold. You go to the fancy mason jar. So that's the nuh-uh defense. That's kind of defense number 2. Then we have defense number 3, which is the time warp defense. This is the time warp defense from our favorite hostile person, Gray Hughes. There's actually proposed community notes, but we're not going to look at those. He was arrested twice, Gray Hughes says, in response to me putting up a piece of paper showing he was arrested on the 11th. There it is right there. Arrest date, 9/11/2025, 10 p.m. That if you're going to say that he was not arrested on this day, then you have to talk around this document. You have to explain this document, or you just have to ignore this document and hope nobody brings it up. A lot of them did that. They just ignored the fact that this arrest date, this inmate booking sheet, and probable cause statement were floating around, and they just didn't address it. And this is kind of what Gray Hughes is doing here, saying he was arrested twice, detained in Utah County, then arrested by Utah County when they took custody of him. How are you still not aware? Well, I'm not aware of that because that doesn't make any sense. He wasn't detained in Utah County. He was detained in Washington County, where he was arrested at 10 p.m. by Brian Davis outside of Utah County. I mean, it's all literally right here. That's probably what the community note is about. And I'll call this the time warp document, the time warp defense. So we had the splice defense. We have the nuh-uh defense, where you're arguing like a 5-year-old. And now we have the time warp defense. Guys, we've got them. We have them dead to rights on this thing. He was Mirandized on the 11th. I'm 99.99% sure. I'm leaving open that 0.01% because I'm a humble host. I'm a humble host. That's it. That's the only reason I'm leaving it open, because I'm humble. I'm not going to be like these people and go out there and beat my chest and say, no. I'm not going to come up with ridiculous arguments like he was arrested twice and somehow that negates the fact that the September 11th arrest date ever exists. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't know why this guy's doing it. I actually did respond to this. I don't know if he ever responded back. I said he was arrested at 10 p.m. in Washington County by SBI agent Brian Davis per that doc. What time would SBI agent Davis have to leave the Salt Lake City or Provo area to arrive at Washington County by 10 p.m.? That's not a trick question. The answer is 6:30 at the latest. So that's the third defense, the time warp, believe it or not. I know aliens are a hot topic. People are talking about interdimensional beings, and maybe that's where he got this defense. Then we have the fourth argument, and this is the one I actually started to find fairly compelling. I will admit, your humble host was almost tricked by this one. Luckily, your humble host is chock full of preparation. He's not only humble, he's prepared. I almost fell for this defense, and it's only because I kind of like the woman in the video. I kind of like her presentation style, even if I disagree with her most of the time, even if she doesn't care for your humble host all that much. I kind of like her smooth style. I kind of like her presentation. So this fourth argument here is the but argument. But, bam. The but the defense hasn't raised it yet argument. I will play this for you because I almost fell for it, and then I'll explain why it's nonsensical. But let me let Andrea have her say here.
Nothing wrong with asking questions, right? Nothing wrong with asking questions. But at a certain point, you have to consider counter questions as well. And a big counter question is, if there's supposedly evidence that these Discord messages were fraudulently created and are being fraudulently offered by the state in the preliminary hearing, that at some point the defense is going to mention that. Quite frankly, would have expected this pretty soon in the process. Any number of ways. I mean, we saw Kathy Nestor at one of the hearings find a way to just drop in that, did you know that there were five, it was a mixture of five contributors on the DNA sample recovered.
See, I like her. I can't help it. I fell for it. I like her presentation. I like her style. The little chuckle, whatever that was. She kind of chuckled there for a minute. Ooh. I mean, she chuckled. Ooh. I kind of fell for the chuckle. And then she kind of raised what I thought sounded at first blush like a common sense argument. Well, why hasn't the defense raised this? Well, I thought, that's a good question. Why haven't they raised this? Because ultimately, whether or not he was Mirandized at 625 goes towards I mean, it's really irrelevant, but for the fact that the Discord confession came at 8 p.m. So the question is, if he was Mirandized at 6:25 p.m., would he have declined to speak to the sheriff's department? Would he have declined to answer their questions, but then grabbed his phone within an hour, hour and a half of that decision not to talk to the sheriff, and then to broadcast for all of posterity his confession to Discord? Anyone who logs into the Discord would then see his confession. Is that something that I could wrap my brain around? And I started to fall for this because I thought, you know what? The defense probably would have raised that by now. That's an interesting point, Andrea. So I let her continue.
From the scene. Oh, that was, it's a way to like drop potentially exculpatory.
There's that chuckle again. Did you hear it? I mean, that chuckle is infectious. It sort of draws you in. I heard that chuckle and I thought, well, anyone who chuckles so graciously can't be misleading, can they? And I don't know that she's trying to be misleading. But there it was again. She's tactically deploying a chuckle. It's a tactically deployed chuckle.
Information into the public record over the course of the hearing. I do find that, of course, interesting. I've talked about it and kind of what that means from a tech standpoint and so forth. But not a peep whatsoever about, there might be some fraud, being perpetrated on the court here. So there's, one of two ways this is likely going to go. The one where, the defense team is kind of the authority on the defense and like what it is, and are the ones who kind of know if there's anything to work with on an issue or not. Or we have the mindset of they're not on his side, they're working against him. Common kind of go to. And in fairness, can't say that there's never been a case of a defense lawyer doing a bad job or not liking their client, throwing them under the bus or anything like that. But I think you get a little bit of a sense of what kind of defense the attorneys are going to put on by getting a sense of how they've done it in the past. And, one of the reasons I have like almost zero concern about the effectiveness of counsel that have been appointed to Tyler Robinson. And it's largely on the strength of Richard Novak and Michael Burt. So
I tend to agree with the latter part of what you said there. I think it's kind of nonsensical, in my opinion, to suggest that the defense is working against Tyler at this point. I think they've done a pretty good job. Are they the smoothest, suavest attorneys you've ever seen in court? No. Do they look like Hollywood actors? No. But most lawyers don't. Most lawyers look like normal people. They're just normal people with specialized training in trial practice, appellate practice, whatever. And so probably what you have on a multi-lawyer defense team is a trial tactician. He'll be the one architecting the defense. You probably have an appellate specialist, an appellate expert who knows Utah appeals better than anybody else, particularly death penalty appeals. That person will be there to make sure the record is clean going up on appeal in case you lose, to give your client the best opportunity possible to be springed by the appellate court system, maybe even under habeas. So you might want somebody with a little federal practice as well under their belt. But it was the first part of the argument that I almost started to buy. So I had to really dig because I thought, I don't know what the standard is in Utah. Luckily for me, I found a statewide association of prosecutors and public attorneys presentation on best practices for preliminary hearings, because I started to buy what she was saying. And I thought, oh, well, let me read this. And I did. I read the whole thing. And it was here buried in slide 4, bullet point 2, that I realized I wasn't agreeing with Andrea anymore. I overcame the burden of her chuckle. Her chuckle had me in its grasps. It was holding me tightly, and I was able to kind of wiggle my way free right here because of bullet point number 2, State versus Hester, 2000, Utah Appeals 159, page 7, quoting a Utah Supreme Court decision here. But, quote, when faced with conflicting evidence, the magistrate, meaning the judge weighing the preliminary evidence, the magistrate may not sift or weigh the evidence, but must leave those tasks to the fact finder at trial. So I did what any decent lawyer would do. I pull this case, I look at what they're talking about, and it makes perfect sense to me now why the defense is not doing certain things that we keep racking our brain saying, why aren't they doing these things? And I'll explain to you what I found. In Utah, when you're at the preliminary hearing stage, the court is not permitted to sift or weigh evidence from the defense. You can challenge the evidence, you can cross-examine, but the judge is only determining whether the evidence is sufficient to be considered, not the weight of the consideration of the evidence. And that's an important distinction. It's a very important distinction. In other words, when they show you the screen caps, like we made a deal about the screen caps, why wouldn't they show the forensic evidence of the telephone, the handheld device? Why wouldn't they show the forensic evidence of that to show that the texts actually exist on that phone, that the texts were generated by that handset, by whoever was in control of that handset, the time, the location, and all that kind of stuff? Why won't they show that? Well, they don't have to. It's a preliminary hearing. They're allowed to show what they call reliable hearsay evidence in Utah. They're allowed to put it up in front of the magistrate, the judge, Tony Graff in this situation. And you're allowed to leave it at that. And the defense can come in and say, yeah, but we don't know that that's on the handset. And the judge can say, yeah, but it's sufficient for the purposes of this hearing. Because all they're trying to do is determine, is it credible that this guy can maintain a charge? Is it credible? In other words, are we going to be laughed at by later courts that we let this guy go to a jury trial? We're not trying the case in the preliminary hearing. They're just determining, is it real evidence or is it fake evidence? And when you talk about the Discord confession, they're going to have somebody come in there, probably Lance. Well, I guess by writing, but my guess is it's going to be Lance's testimony. And Lance is going to say, yep, Zealous Monkey 5539 or whatever the handle was, that was Tyler's handle. That's how he chatted on Discord. And yeah, I saw that text from him and I knew it was from him because it said Zealous Monkey 5539 or whatever it was. And that's his handle. That's enough. The defense can get up there and they can't cross-examine Lance because he's not there, but the defense can get up there and say, but judge, anybody could have logged in, and the judge can say it's irrelevant. I'm not allowed to weigh the evidence. I'm just to determine if it's credible at all. And if it is, it's going to come in and I'm going to consider it when determining whether this very low burden exists to allow Tyler Robinson to go to trial. We're not even talking like greater than 50%. We're not talking about reasonable doubt, almost absolutely certain. We're not talking about any of these high standards. We're not talking about a preponderance of the evidence where it's, well in excess of half. We're just talking about probable cause. Could a reasonable person look at the evidence that's before me, and would that reasonable person say, yeah, we need to have a trial to figure out if that's the guy who did it? That's it. That's the standard. When you read the case, that's what it says. You're not allowed to sift. You're not allowed to examine. You're not allowed to do any of that stuff. You can examine, but you can only examine what the prosecution enters, and you can only examine it to determine whether it's fake on its face. On its face. And so if you have Zealous Monkey saying that's it, if you have Lance saying, oh, Zealous Monkey, that's Tyler. Every time he texted under Discord, that was his handle. And now you have a picture of a Discord message. Yeah, that's him. It's coming in. Well, judge, he was in custody. Okay. I mean, I guess they could put Tyler up to say, I was in custody at 6:25. I was Mirandized, but I think that'd be very foolish to give up your Fifth Amendment rights so soon. Maybe one of those investigators that's on the witness list, they could talk to him and say, did he have his phone? And they'll probably say, I don't know if he had his phone. I didn't see him. I didn't get there till 10 o'clock. I have no idea what was happening at 8 o'clock. I don't even know where he was. It's outside of my bailiwick, as they say. And so I think it's important as we consider the Andrea but argument. But the defense hasn't raised it. Well, the defense hasn't raised it because it doesn't make sense for the defense to raise it at this point. If they're going to attack this message, they're going to do it at trial. That's the only opportunity, or in a pretrial motion. That's the only opportunity to do it. It's too soon. It's too early. The preliminary stage is not the place because the judge is not permitted to consider that counter evidence. The judge is not permitted to consider these types of things. He just looks at the evidence on its face. Is there enough credible evidence that this is real? If there is, I mean, just, a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I look at all the stuff before me and say, would any outsider look at this and say, Judge, you're ludicrous for letting this guy go to trial? Unless the answer to that question is yes, then he's going to trial. That's why they haven't raised the issue. I do think the defense is dropping these Easter eggs. I think that's why they put the 6:25 p.m. in there, so that we would find it and look. Now, again, I am humble. I leave open the possibility that 6:25 could have been on September 12th. It would fly in the face of all evidence. It would fly in the face of the statement he made at 6:25 that said he was looking for a lawyer and his office was closed for the night and his parents were looking for it because he'd have to have spoken to his parents relatively recently, and he would say the night, not the weekend. So it would fly in the face of that. It would fly in the face of the local community saying that they knew Tyler Robinson had turned himself in before 7:00. Text messages were going around saying that. It would fly in the face of the fact that the arrest booking sheet says he was arrested by Brian Davis at 10 p.m., that he was the arresting officer and that he was arrested at 10:00 on September 11th. And Brian Davis would have had to drive 3.5, 4 hours to get there. So Tyler Robinson would have had to make himself known before that, so they would know to leave the Salt Lake City, Provo area and start heading down to southern Utah. It would fly in the face of all of that. It would fly in the face of the bait stamp. So I'm pretty confident when I say I think it was September 11th, but I'm open to being wrong. I think that's what distinguishes your humble host from these people on the other side who are not open to being wrong. They're committed for reasons other than the pursuit of the truth. They have a narrative to support. It's fed slop. Tastes like Alpo. Let the dogs eat it. Alpo, good for dogs, bad for fed sloppers, bad for humans. So that's the fourth one, the but argument. Now we have the fifth and worst argument. The fifth and worst argument, I'm going to call the RAR argument. Like RAR argument. This is the worst argument yet. And this is from Paramount Impractical. And I'm going to put it up here with all its defamation in here because I don't really care if he defames me. He does it all the time. I could, of course, send him a cease and desist. I would, of course, win a defamation suit. I'm not going to charge him. I'm not doing that. But I'll put it up here with all its defamation in here, proving once again, he's talking about this right here. This is the nuh-uh argument. He's bought the nuh-uh argument, proving once again Baron Coleman is a grifting clown, peddling conspiracies that don't exist. Isn't it convenient? You don't show the below arrest report, which shows Tyler Robinson in custody on 9/12, not 11, at 0400 hours. Well, it's because it's irrelevant whether he was in custody at 0400 on the 12th, because I showed a booking sheet that he was arrested at 10 p.m. on the 11th. So the fact that he's still in custody at 4 a.m. on the 12th is not a surprise to me. In fact, it's expected. So I don't know why I would show that. This is what the motion to exclude cameras document is referencing. The interrogation occurred on 6:25 p.m. on the 12th. And this is where he can't be serious right now. I don't believe he's low IQ enough to truly believe that is 100% the case. Again, because it flies in the face of all evidence. But this is Gary Impractical, Paramount Impractical. You also falsely stated Sheriff Brooksby's timeline is the only thing that supports he was Mirandized on the 12th and not the 11th. That's not false. It is the only thing. You take away Sheriff Brooksby's comment, and there's no evidence at all that 6:25 p.m. was on the 12th. And in fact, if you take away Sheriff Brooksby saying that he first heard of Tyler Robinson at 8:02 p.m., if you take away Sheriff Brooksby saying that that's when he got the call that Tyler Robinson was preparing to turn himself in, and then Tyler Robinson showed up an hour or so later, if you take Sheriff Brooksby out of this and you look only at the documentary evidence, and you see that he was arrested by Brian Davis of the Utah State Bureau of Investigation at 10 p.m. on September 11th, then any rational, reasonable person would start doing a little math and saying, how long would it take Brian Davis to get there? Okay, well, he got there at 10, subtract 3.5, 4 hours. Okay, so 6:30, he would have been alerted and he would have been on his way. And so I doubled down. Yes, Sheriff Brooksby is the only thing that supports the 12th and not the 11th. Because Sheriff Brooksby is the only person, the only testimony that shows that Tyler Robinson could not have been there at 6:25 p.m. You remove Sheriff Brooksby from the equation, and it's obvious that it was 6:25 p.m. in St. George, or in, I guess, Hurricane, but Washington County. Wrong again, a crooked letter hat. You really do suck at lawyering. I'm hurt, Gary. I'm hurt. My whole job of my 20-year career representing a wide variety of people has been to impress Gary Milton from Paramount Impractical. The fact that I failed in my life's mission, Gary, I'm just devastated. I'm devastated that you think I suck at lawyering. That's amazing. This must be why you lost the Gavin McInnes defamation case. There's your defamation. I didn't lose that case. Case isn't over. That case was filed 7 years ago. It's very much still active, sir. So that is by per se defamatory, but that's okay. I'm not going to hold you to it. I will direct. If you don't believe me, get on Pacer, Gary. It's still quite active. I will direct your attention below to the screenshot from the affidavit for search warrant from Apple Inc. Page 5 of 9 of the search warrant. You seem to have problems finding information. Gary, I'm the one that found that affidavit for the search warrant. Oh, Daisy is. She found 16 of them. So it's not that we suck at finding information. It's that we consider the totality of all information available. Not just supported by the Sheriff Nate Brooksby timeline. The timeline is in the search warrant, you low IQ clown. Sir, low IQ is my phrase. You're not allowed to use that. Good thing you become a full-time lying, conspiracy inventing, horse doo-doo peddling propagandist. You have a gift for it, unlike your incompetence at practicing law. Again, per se defamation, but that's fine. I'm going to let it go. I don't care. I don't care what Gary Impractical says. In fact, the only reason anyone even knows he still exists is because we cover him from time to time. If Candace never mentioned him and I never mentioned him, his audience would probably be a third of what it is, which is already very small. But again, if you look here, what he's talking about, this says he arrived at approximately 26 hours at Washington County, and he was wearing clothing. He was not wearing clothing consistent with the clothing observed on the surveillance camera. So, where do you think they got that information that he arrived at 26 hours? I go back to Sheriff Brooksby. Do you think they just made it up? No, they got it from Sheriff Brooksby. So once again, Gary, I double, triple, quadruple down. The only reason that we believe it was that timeline is because of Sheriff Brooksby. That's it. There is no other reason. That's Gary Milton from Paramount Impractical. Yes, I don't mind showing the haters. I'm assuming Gary's watching. He watches all of it. He sucks in air. He blinks a lot. That's fine. That's his show. He can do what he wants. In fact, I'm proud of Gary. I'm frankly thankful for Gary because but for Gary, we wouldn't know a lot of really crucial facts about this case. For example, we wouldn't know Andrew Kolvet was secretly trying to establish an alibi for Erica Kirk because Andrew did not want that read aloud. He wanted Gary to act like he got some sort of tip. And instead, Gary shows the picture of the chubby finger over the top of two kids who are not Erica Kirk's. And he tries to pawn it off as if they are. So, but for that, we would not know that Andrew was working that way. And that the alibi was falling apart. We might have believed her alibi, but because of Gary Impractical, we are well aware that her alibi is still not sufficient. But for Gary, we would not have bulletproof evidence that Mitch Snow was in fact at Fort Huachuca. I'll remind you, Gary Impractical was the one interviewing Mitch Snow's son when Mitch Snow's son was like, oh yeah, I know for a fact he was there because they called me and they told me he was there. Thanks, Gary. You're doing yeoman's work. You're really doing a good job. So I appreciate it. I don't mind giving you the shout out. I don't mind showing your defamatory statements and your poor logic. It's irrelevant. Irrelevant. So those are your that's me doubling down on that. Now, I want to show you one more Gary thing here. And I hate to do this, but I just have to. I just have to. Because he shouts out the Turkey Tom video. And I don't know if you guys have been around a long time, but I actually covered this Turkey Tom video he shouts out, and I'll show you a piece of that tonight. Just facts, the Discord message from Tyler Robinson was sent at 7:57 p.m. Mountain Time on September 11th. That's even before a call to Nate Brooksby. According to Nate Brooksby, that's correct, Gary. I'm challenging that Nate Brooksby is accurate. He resigned in disgrace. He's a disgraced former sheriff. Tyler was not in custody. It was a full hour before his parents took him. Okay, thanks. Screenshot going around says 8:57, not indicated times. Yeah, okay, we got that. We got that. Luckily, the Turkey Tom videos captured the time zone. If you haven't watched the Turkey Tom videos on Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs, you are missing key information regarding this case. His video specifically on the Discord chats is linked below. Ladies and gentlemen, I covered this just a couple of days after the Turkey Tom videos came out. And I want to show you, because this is old Baron here, the old Baron footage. It's a hoodie I no longer even wear anymore. But I want to show you this footage. You'll notice the studio looks a little different here. The lighting sucks. I hadn't fixed the sound quite yet. That's why the books are behind me to eat up some of the sound. But I want to show you a little bit of this because unlike Gary and Practical, I spotted this was a Fed op from the very beginning. Watch. But we'll also review a video that I thought was fascinating. I found it truly, truly fascinating. I saw Valhalla, BFT, and Ian Carroll talk about this Turkey Tom video. So I went, like any diligent person, went and watched the Turkey Tom video. I had a different take on it. Not to say their take sucks. I don't know them. But I had a different take. It was a truly fascinating video. And if you've not seen it, I'll play clips of it tonight. But I want to use Google Trends analysis to see if we can determine one major fact. And I want to use common sense. One major fact. Was the person sharing all the images with Turkey Tom, sharing all the archives of the Discord servers with Turkey Tom, given all the background information about Tyler's and Lance's relationship to Turkey Tom, was that person an undercover Fed? Yep, I spotted it from the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Gary and Practical still has not spotted it. That video came out in October. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. I was 7 months ahead of the curve. Impractical still has not figured out the guy was a Fed. He didn't watch the video, apparently. He wasn't a big fan of mine back then. I encourage you, Gary, I know you're watching that. Go back and watch this video. It will open your eyes on this issue. It will really open your eyes on this. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It was the moment I realized the guy was a guaranteed, absolute, stone cold, 100% Fed. And it's not even close. You can't even argue the point here. Oh, I almost pulled a Baron and showed you the side of my head while I watched it. No, not anymore, guys. This is a high IQ outfit now.
Such. But I've done my best to provide you all with the information I'm able to share to the extent it can be verified. In his first message to me, this person said, "Hello, I just watched your video on the Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler and thought you did a good job. I happen to know Tyler and Lance in real life. I don't take a lot of pictures, so I can't prove it very well, but I am in Discord servers where both of them are."
Guys, let's just put yourself in the shoes of a Fed. Where would you interact with weirdos? You want to interact with weirdos. You want to reach out to weirdos. Where do you find them? Do you go to the local Latin mass? Probably not. Not a lot of weirdos. Do you go to, I don't know, do you go to the public library in the nonfiction section? Probably not. Probably not. Do you go to Discord? Yeah. Weirdos galore, dude. Weirdos galore in the Discord servers. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone who's ever been in a Discord server is a weirdo. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying they're there. They're there. This guy spends 6 years in a Discord server with these guys. 3 different Discord servers, we find out. And while he goes to their house, he doesn't like to take a lot of pictures. We'll see the pictures he does take in a minute. Notice there's no one in it. It's almost like the pictures were taken after the house was raided. That's kind of what it looked like to me. Because for a guy who doesn't take a lot of pictures, you know one of the things he did? You'll find this out. One of the things he did was go and get Lance Twiggs's journal and open it up and go page by page through Lance Twiggs's journal. I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have been to a friend's house? How many of you have gone to your friend's house, gotten their journal, and taken pictures of every page? Honest question. Honest question. If you've done it, call your friend and apologize. Go to confession and don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Stop it. Stop doing it. Yeah, first thing I do. I saw that comment fly through. All right, I got to point something out. Did you see how dirty YouTube did me a second ago? Watch this. I want to play this again, and then I'm going to pause it when it happens. Call your friend and apologize. Go to confession and don't do it again. Do you see what it did? It said snorts. It says snorts. Oh my gosh. I didn't watch it with the CC on when I was prepping for the show. I did not know it said snorts in there, guys. This is horrific. This is horrific. But yeah, it was at this moment that I was like, oh, the guys are fed. The guys are fed. He's hanging out in Discord servers. He takes pictures. He doesn't take a lot of pictures. This is a guy who doesn't take a lot of pictures, this Turkey Tom informant. I don't take a lot of pictures, so I can't prove it. I do have some pictures, but the pictures he takes, no one's in the pictures. I don't want to go show the whole video. If you want to see it, it's like episode 8 or 9 or something. There's a long time ago, but it's got Turkey Tom in the title of the video. It says something about Mikey McCoy, more angles. Are they looking at each other or something? I apparently covered that as well. But the guy hangs out in 3 different Discord servers for 6 years. And then he provides pictures to Turkey Tom, but there's not a soul in these pictures. Instead, it's like pictures of the dining room with stuff all over it. Pictures of the living room with stuff all over it. I mean, Doritos wrappers. He's showing the place is just a pit. These guys lived like homeless people. It looked awful. And then he grabs the journal. He grabs Lance Twiggs's journal and like puts his camera above the journal and takes pictures of every page of Lance Twiggs' journal. Provides those to Turkey Tom. Gary watches this and goes, yeah, that's probably a friend of theirs. Very informative guy. This is a perfect example of good reporting. Gary, that's a Fed. That's 100% a Fed. That's how we knew this. That's why this honestly was the first day that I was like, oh my gosh, this is guaranteed a Fed operation. Because the Feds are leaking information from their investigation to YouTubers. Turkey Tom at the time, by the way, covering this case, was getting like 1 million views per show, like Candace level views. So it makes total sense to me that they would have leaked this out to Turkey Tom. The Feds would have gone, who are the common YouTubers covering this case? We gotta win them over. We got to get them on our side. We've got to leak information to them. They'll get so caught up in the fact that they're getting this key information that they won't even bother looking at where this key information came from. They won't even question it. They'll be so excited to get more YouTube hits. Well, guys, if somebody's feeding, I'll give you an example. I got a tip late last week. It's good too. Ooh, it's a good tip. It would get a lot of clicks. Feels like a setup. Like I've been evaluating it. I've talked to a few people about it. And I'm like, I don't know about this. This doesn't feel right to me. I don't think I'm going to do the show. I don't think I'm going to do the story. It feels like a setup. It feels like one of those things that they get you to put out so that they can drop the hammer on you afterwards. I don't know if it's a Fed. I don't know if it's a bad actor. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't pass the sniff test to me. So I'm not going to do the show. The person shouldn't have the information they have. And so if they're trying to get the information out through a YouTuber, there's some way they're either trying to manipulate somebody, they're trying to come after me, they're trying to come after you, the audience, they're trying to watch it go viral and then figure out some way to turn that against it. I just don't trust the information. So I'm not going to cover the story. I don't think I am. I'm 95% sure I'm not going to cover it. It just doesn't seem right to me. And that's how Turkey Tom should have taken this information. What he should have done is said, guys, this appears to be a federal investigator trying to manipulate us, but let's look at what they've given us because it is good information. It's compelling information. I don't think there's any of that information that could get him in trouble or anything like that. But, you know, to believe a guy hung out in a Discord server for 6 years, taking notes, like capturing information out of the Discord server over the course of 6 years, and then had access to photos of his apartment in various states of disarray from different angles that would capture entire rooms. I mean, you've been to people's houses. Have you ever taken pictures like that? Have you ever walked into someone's house and seen a messy dining room and was like, oh, I know what I need to do here. Hold on. I got to get this. Get the whole room in here. Yeah. Click. No. That's what a Fed does. That's what they do when they're collecting evidence. That's not what a friend does. You ever had a friend at your house grab your journal and start taking pictures of it? I hope not. I hope that person's not your friend if they did. That's weird. But if it gives you an idea of the IQ level that we're dealing with on the other side, the high IQ that these people think they have when they're claiming with certainty that it's September 12th, these guys can't even sniff out a Fed operation. They're singing the praises of Turkey Tom, who fell for one of the most obvious Fed operations I've ever witnessed on YouTube. And like I said, I like Turkey Tom. I think his videos, I don't know if he's still making them, but the early videos he did on the Tyler Robinson case were pretty good. They were pretty good. I have no idea if he's still doing it. So Gary, if you're going to come after me, be right. Be right. Don't say that I lost cases that are very much not over. Don't say I'm being an A crooked letter clown or hat or whatever you said. I mean, just tell me where I'm going wrong. But you people yelling and saying, no, it was the 12th. It was the 12th. My whole point is I think they're lying, and I'm looking at evidence that they're lying. I'm looking at evidence that contradicts their statements. You're just telling me their statements. I know what their statements are, Gary. I've read these things. I found these things. We're the ones who brought this information to you. It's like somebody emailed me the other day. Bless her heart. She must be a new listener, but she emailed me the other day and said, you really should do a show on this accurate energetic systems thing. And I said, well, you should go watch episode 34. It was 69 episodes ago. I did a whole show on it. I think I was the first one in the country to do the show on accurate energetic systems. Anyway, but that's confirmation. There's one more piece that makes me think it might have been the 12th. And that the timeline might be all wrong. And I'm going to pull it up. And admittedly, this is not the strongest evidence I've ever shown on the show. But I want you to see this as I see it. Because there's a big gap in here that I don't think I can explain. So this is the Washington County Sheriff's Office bookings for the last 5 days. If you scroll back through here, this is as the website looked on September 15th. So this would include September 10th and September 9th. But I want you to look at the arrest date times. That's what we're looking at. I don't care about the names. I don't care about any of this stuff. Look at the times. 10:06 a.m., 10:43 a.m., 12:59 p.m., 1:04 p.m., 1:21 p.m., 1:41 p.m. It's an active sheriff's office, in other words. 3:41 p.m. Look at these afternoon dates, times. So we've got 3:41, 3:56, 5:12, 6:38, 8:09. These are from the 9th. So we have 1 or 2 arrests every hour or two. On the 9th, we have another 8 o'clock, 8:09. We've got a 9:05. We've got a 9:19. We've got a 9:22, 9:32, 9:49. I'm going somewhere with this, by the way. I'm building a case. Then we get to our overnight stuff, and it does thin out quite a bit. So I'll scroll past these. Now we roll over to September 10th. This is the date in question. Was Tyler Robinson in custody, being Mirandized? And can we find any evidence using the booking sheet from this day to support whether or not Tyler Robinson was in custody by a particular time? So let's look here. 1 a.m., 1 a.m., 6 a.m. So we had like a 5-hour gap in the middle of the night. That's pretty normal. 7:34 a.m., 8:41 a.m., 10:25 a.m., 11:46 a.m. Then we get to 1:47 p.m., 2:03 p.m. So we're keeping this sort of every hour, sometimes twice an hour cadence here. 2:18, 2:39. So twice during the 2 o'clock hour. We got one right at 3 o'clock, 3:01, 3:32. So we have 3 during the 3 o'clock hour. And then we don't get another one until 11:13 p.m. The Washington County Sheriff's Office booking sheet says that they did not get an arrest from 3:32 p.m. until 11:13 p.m. That is almost an 8-hour gap. An 8-hour gap. Now let's go to the next day. 7 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 2:53, 3:07, 4:17, 4:22, 4:26. No 8-hour gap on this day. 5:50, 6:11, and then 22:54. So the afternoon is really busy here in St. George. Now we'll go to the next day. Look at the afternoon on this day. 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 12:54, 1:56, 3:09, 4:50, 5:31, 6:58, 7:18, and then 10:08. Go to the next day because we only have 2 more days left on here. So it's 2 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 11:49. Oh, I don't need to look it up. 11:49, 1:19, 3:49, 4:29, 5:50. So the what I'd call the late second shift seems to be pretty active most of these days. And then we had a 9 p.m. one here. And then the final day here is the 15th. This is the last one. 8 a.m., 12:47, 1:10, 5:31, 5:55, 7. There's no 8-hour gap on any day. 9:35. There's no 8-hour gap on any day except the date Tyler Robinson was taken into custody. And he was taken into custody, they say, at 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that the 6:25 may even be late. I might suggest he could have been in custody as early as 3 or 4 p.m. based on that alone. And that they sort of shut down that end of the sheriff's department. Like they didn't want anybody in there. We're not doing any bookings right now. Nobody's coming on this side of the sheriff's department. You hold them over there. I want to suggest he might have been there as early as like 3 or 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock. Because I don't know any other reason there's an 8-hour and 45-minute gap in the bookings at a time of day when every other day, and I looked at other days. I looked at, every day that was available. It's unprecedented. There is no other gap. There's no other gap. There's no other 8 or 9 hour gap in the bookings that runs from 3 to 11 p.m. It doesn't exist. Like the 3, 4, 5 o'clock hour in the afternoon is pretty busy. And then we always get a couple around dinner time, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, get 1 or 2 roll in, and then another one around 9 or 10. I mean, it's pretty standard every single day. One of the things you do when you're investigating something is you look for patterns or pattern breaks. When you see a pattern or a pattern break, you have a pretty good idea that something's happened. A pattern can confirm something is happening. A pattern break can confirm that something should have happened, it didn't happen. I'm seeing people say I was looking the wrong day. I don't think I was. I'll go back. Let me scroll back to the 10th here. See if my 8 hour gap holds on the 10th. Pretty confident it does. Yep. It's it right here, the 10th. Oh, the 10th. Oh, the 10th. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. It's the 11th. The wrong day. You're right. Well, let's look at the 11th then. Well, I screwed that up. See, I'm humble. I'm humble. I wonder why the big gap. I guess what makes sense on the 10th is they were all responding to the Charlie Kirk thing. They weren't out busting bad guys. And so here on the 11th, we have a gap from 6:11 p.m. And what we believe is that Tyler Robinson would have turned himself in shortly after or about the same time as this Kelsey person. And then the Maxine Saldana at 11 p.m., that would have been after Tyler Robinson was already in custody with them. So you have this gap. But I will admit that what is that, a 6 hour gap, 7 hour gap is not as compelling as a 9 hour gap, but it's pretty compelling. Oh, it's a 5 hour gap. That's a 5 hour gap. But that's not as unprecedented. And I think the 10th can be explained by the probably all law enforcement. I would guess all law enforcement in Utah was probably sidelined. Who knows what they were doing? But that's interesting. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are active in the comments, keeping us honest over here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll allow it. All right, I want to switch gears because I want to cover this, and I don't want to kick it off another day. This is a clarification from the last show. During the last show, we pulled up the Friends of Zion press release for Andrew Kolvet, and we thought it might have something to do with a Friends of Zion in Las Vegas. And that was the Adelson's Drug Clinic in Las Vegas. What we've since learned is that's not it at all, and the truth is far worse than we believed it was. It was weird that he would have been representing the Adelsons on some press thing. I mean, it's a drug clinic. Why is Andrew Kolvet representing some drug clinic? The truth is actually much worse. So let's go through this real quickly because I want to show you what this is. This is the Jerusalem Prayer Team. This is the group that Andrew Kolvet supposedly was representing. This is the guy named Mike Evans. He's a best-selling author. He's a Christian minister, and he is a rabid pro-greatest ally guy. Like his whole life exists to be pro-greatest ally. And it tells us here the Jerusalem Prayer Team exists to build Friends of Zion to guard and defend and protect the Jewish people and to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. So that's the sole reason this group exists. And you read that and say, well, that's not terrible. I mean, there's nothing damning about that. It also says it's part of this overall thing called the Corrie 10 Boom House. Okay, well, that's duly noted. I'm going to skip ahead here and skip some of this stuff. I'll show you that they have an address in Phoenix, which I think is semi-relevant here. The Jerusalem Prayer Team are also members, is down here at the bottom, also members of the Churches United with Israel, Corrie 10 Boom House, Friends of Zion Heritage Center, Jerusalem World News. The mailing address is P.O. Box 30,000, Phoenix, Arizona. So that's down there at the bottom. This is the group that Andrew Kolvet was representing when he worked with Johnny Moore And it was Andrew Kolvet and Johnny Moore, while Andrew Kolvet is representing this group that he pursues madly Charlie Kirk. He's trying to get in with TPUSA. And I'll show you how this connection was made. I've shown this before, but I'll just remind you, because when you see some of the people involved with this, you're going to say, is this really what they're doing? The Jerusalem Prayer Team, worldwide social media initiative created by the Friends of Zion Heritage Center in Jerusalem. There is your contact information. Andrew Kolvet. He is the guy representing this Friends of Zion. This is his gig. Now, let's look at some of the people who were involved in this, because this kind of shocked me. I was like, wonder who the board members were of this organization. Good indication to figure out what kind of group it is. Here's the first person that I found that was a board member. General Yossi Peled, man with a vision. Okay. This is tells us who the first chair of the Friends of Zion was. It was the former president of Israel, Shimon Peres. And I thought, okay, well, you have a former president as your board, your board leader, your chairperson, your head of the organization. Okay, that's fine. So after Shimon Peres steps down, they approach another equally qualified man and ask him to assume the role, General Yossi Peled. He's got his own unique story to tell. And then it gives a little bit of his bio, talks about his military experience. He's a supporter of Benjamin Netanyahu. He joined the Likud party, stood for election in 2009, won a seat in the Knesset. Okay. They mention other people who've been given awards. So it's kind of a high-profile person, but do we know anything else about him? So I go looking. What else can I find about Yossi Peled? One of the things I found is he authored something called the Hannibal Directive. If you're not familiar with the Hannibal Directive, you should be. According to Haaretz reporter Leibovich Dar, the motivation for the directive was the capture of 2 Israeli soldiers. Both soldiers presumably died during the attack. Their bodies were returned in exchange in 1996. The directive developers were the 3 top officers of the IDF Northern Command, Major General Yossi Peled. So he's one of the authors of the Hannibal Directive. Well, what is the Hannibal Directive? During a kidnapping, the main task becomes to rescue our soldiers from the abductors, even at the cost of harming or injuring our soldiers. If the hijackers do not stop, they should be fired at individually, intentionally, in order to hit the hijackers, even if it means harming our soldiers. This is a very fair reading of this, a very favorable reading of this. Major General Yossi Peled authored the Hannibal Directive, and the Hannibal Directive exists to say, we're not negotiating with terrorists, and if you're holding our hostages, we'll kill them. So you don't have leverage over us. That's the Hannibal Directive. This guy invented that, and he's now the head of the group that Andrew Kolvet was representing. And I thought, that sounds awfully militant. Wonder if there's anyone else on the board I should be concerned about. So I look, and there's no like easy to find board of directors, but I did find an article that mentioned a few, so I looked them up. These are a few of the board of directors that they're talking about. The former chairman of the board was Shimon Peres. We talked about that. The Immune Board of Trustees include Major General Yossi Peled. We talked about him. Former Chief of Staff Dan Halutz. We'll talk about him in a second. We got these other people. So, okay. So we know now who some of these people are. What do we know about them? Well, let's look at Dan Halutz. This is Dan Halutz. This doesn't seem like a museum board, ladies and gentlemen, the more you start looking at it. He's an Air Force Lieutenant General, former Chief of Staff of the IDF, commander of the Israeli Air Force. He had what was called a targeted killing policy. But let's also tighten the cooperation of the IAF with IDF ground forces, enabling the IEF to arrange targeted killings of Palestinian militants within minutes of being provided intelligence. The targeted killings policy became identified in large degree with Halutz himself. So this targeted killing policy is from Halutz. So we have so far on your board the author of the Hannibal Directive that says we'll kill our own people if they're kidnapped. We'll kill our own hostages. And the second guy, only the second guy I looked up is like, oh, we'll also targeted kill everyone we see. And what targeted killing means is it's not targeted at all. If you go read that section, it's kind of gruesome. That's why I pulled it down. I don't want to read it out loud. But it talks about a targeted killing could mean you blow up the entire apartment building to get to one person in the apartment building. So that's the second guy we could find. Who's the third guy on this museum that is supported by Andrew Kolvet? Who's the third guy? We got Yaakov Neiman. Israeli lawyer, served as the Minister of Justice and Minister of Finance. He was never a member of the Knesset. His political views, he wanted halakha law to be made binding law in Israel. The ultimate goal of making Israel a halakhic state. He later denied this. I bet he did. We often talk about people that want Sharia law. This guy wanted the Israeli version of it. Now, who's the other person, the other name that was on that list? Again, they don't list all of them, but here's another one that was on the list. A guy named Danny Yadam. He was a member of the Knesset for labor. He was the head of the Mossad. Oh, he was Ehud Barak's chief of staff. Oh, where have we heard Ehud Barak's name a lot? Oh, yeah, the Einstein files. He lived or stayed with him a lot. Stayed with J.E. a whole lot. Served as his chief of staff and security advisor, became a Knesset member, served in the 16th and 17th Knesset. Yeah. So this is the organization that Andrew Kolvet was representing. What a weird organization to represent in America. I can't even find a reason why Americans would be supporting such an organization. It's almost like we don't know who he is, Andrew Kolvet. This is just weird. This is, I guess, a prelude to them using Charlie Kirk's name, voice, to appoint Erica Kirk. This is the weirdest thing I could find on this. A Jerusalem exhibit lets you talk to Israel's premiers. This is the Friends of Zion Museum. You can go and have a conversation with past premiers like Golda Meir. You could go sit there and talk to her, and they talk about the conversation. This woman says, "You were the third woman in the world and the first in Israel to head a government. What message do you have for young female audience?" And she responded, "The fact that I'm a woman has never hindered me in anything. It never caused me embarrassment, never gave me an inferiority complex. It's not really important to decide at a very young age what a person wants to do. It's much more important that you decide on a way in which you want to live." And that's an image of the AI created Golda Meir answering questions to reporters on the fly. I thought that was bizarre. But I look at this and think, this is weird. Like, this is a weird organization to be involved in. In fact, we find that Johnny Moore is actually still involved with the organization, even though Andrew is now gone full-time at TPUSA. Here is an FOZ, Friends of Zion Ambassador Summit. You have breakout sessions and all this. And here is Johnny Moore giving the Ambassador Summit and graduation ceremony. This is your list of speakers, and you'll see here next to the current Prime Minister of Israel is evangelical leader Johnny Moore, former Andrew Kolvet employer. I just look at all this and I say, I don't think Charlie knew what he was getting into with these people. I really don't. I really, really don't. I think the more you look into the people who ingratiated themselves into the community, including his wife, including Andrew Kolvet, frankly, including maybe Mikey McCoy, excuse me. I don't think he knew what he was getting into, because the people Andrew was representing, they didn't think twice about killing somebody who was standing in their way, including their own hostages. That's the Hannibal directive. They don't even care about killing their own people. You think they care about killing a Iran war opponent who's questioning the incursion into Gaza? I don't think so. I don't think they'd care about that at all. Not those people. And those are the people he was representing. That's the organization he chose to work for. Like, I would look at that list of board members and be like, I'm sorry, guys, this isn't something I feel comfortable doing. It seems kind of bloody. Seems kind of not something I'm wild about, guys. I don't know that I want one of my board members to be the former head of Mossad. But there's Andrew representing them, being their press guy, writing up press releases for them. And that press release was about the time he goes to track Charlie down and start working for him, when Charlie had a manufactured crisis come up that he couldn't handle. I worry about it. So tonight, I doubled down on 9/11. I doubled down on the arrest date. I find all of the arguments that were levied against our show on Monday, I find them lacking and wanting, if not flat out dishonest. Yes, of course, I know what their statements are, Gary. I know that they say he turned himself in after 8 o'clock, after the Discord message. My whole point is, I'm looking at the totality of the circumstances, the body of evidence, to determine, does that even make any sense? And I conclude it doesn't. The second thing is, Andrew Kolvet has lived a life most of us don't understand. We're still in the process of digging into it, but this guy's affiliated with people. He's been employed by people. He's worked for people that I don't think Charlie knew what he was getting into. I think that was a snake in the grass hire. I think that was, you got to be really careful. I've experienced this myself on this program, actually. You got to be careful who you let in and around the operation. I don't want to get into it, but Daisy, Nurse Casey, and I have done our best day in and day out to bring you a quality program on a nightly basis, or 4 nights a week, and a member show once a week. And there are people who don't want that to happen, apparently. And the obvious people are TPUSA and Gary and, all the loser class. But you got to be careful, though, because there's some people like Andrew who ingratiate themselves to you with the purpose of taking you down. And as you discover it, you've got to get yourself away from those people. And I think that's what Charlie was in the process of trying to do, and he lost his life before he was able to do it. And that's tragic to me, because I do truly believe that's what happened. Okay, so going forward, just by way of note, going forward, we will do a show tomorrow. We will do a member show Friday. We will not, in the near future, for the near term, do not plan to go back to live streaming at Rumble. At some point, we may go back to doing that. I'm trying to work something out with Rumble to make that better. But if we can't make that a better option, we'll just continue streaming to YouTube, and then we'll upload to Rumble the next day. So if you're just an absolute Rumble diehard, you can watch it the next day there. But if you want to watch it live, we're going to be watching on YouTube for the foreseeable future. At some point, we may even go live on Spotify. That's certainly an option. I've talked to them about that. They're excited about that. But again, it has to be seamless. It has to be a way that benefits the whole program, benefits the audience, and makes sense. And right now, I don't feel like they're technologically where it would be feasible. And that became obvious with Rumble. The longer I tried to simulcast both places, it just didn't work. It wasn't working. So we'll get to a place. We'll keep working with our partners. They're good partners. I'm not knocking any of them, but we'll get to a place where hopefully we can expand the live offering. But for right now, YouTube it is. That's where we're going to be doing it live. And so if you want to catch the show live, you'll have to catch it here. I'm not saying this for you guys as much as I'm saying it for people who catch it later on Rumble and on YouTube. And on Spotify, because, letting them know what's coming. All right, let me get through some of your comments here. Like the video, subscribe. As you know, there was a poll up. I don't know if it's still up. Some of you are haters and you're never going to subscribe. That's fine. It seemed to be a small percentage. Some of you, just for whatever reason, had not yet subscribed. Now's your opportunity. Go ahead and do that. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have crossed the 300,000 threshold. We've crossed the 300,000 threshold. And Trigger Smart has done a good job. He's updated our branding here a little bit. And he helped us with the opening statement. So, not the opening statement, the opening theme song. So Trigger Smart is really helping us out here. But if you check this out, you'll notice we got some new branding up and we hit the 300,000 mark. So thank you guys. Thank you. Genuinely thank you. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Still committed to doing the super show when we hit 1 million, but we're a long way from there. Boise Jack guy is going to hold me to that. I know he is. Baron, let your blood work be a testament to your high IQ. Immature grons equals 0. I think we can all assume this means your grons are sophisticated and wise. I don't even know what an immature gron is. What's immature? Young white blood cells. Oh. I think I'm supposed to have those though. So maybe that's a bad thing. But yeah, it's a high IQ outfit. We wouldn't have immature grons. Hello. Thank you. Wow, Mr. Bruce Lee. Thank you. Congrats on 300,000. Your show and this company inspired me so much that I quit my job and I'm currently going through the steps to open my own business. Thank you for all you do. And let's all go Max. I am again a sole business owner. I did it for 9 or 10 years and then went back and worked for a couple different companies and then have now gone back out on my own. It's very freeing, but you got to be very disciplined. You can let the day get away from you without somebody looking over your shoulder. It's been known to happen, not to your humble host, but to others. Others succumb to this. So stay disciplined, Mr. Bruce Lee. Stay disciplined. But thank you for that generous contribution. Thank you for the congratulations and congratulations of your own. Congrats on 300,000. Married life is great. Mel, mama is a fiesta one. Christ is king. You talking about the former Fox lady? And I'm assuming you mean feisty or you mean fiesta, like she parties. Fiesta forever. That's a Lionel Richie song. Community. Oh, this community inspired me. Oh, thought the company inspired you. Congrats on 300. So happy for you. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Congrats on 300,000. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. TJ Kurt, 50 memberships. That means 50 of you can now go back and watch past member episodes like Danks and Zach Costello and Trigger Smart and others. And 50 of you will now be able to watch the Dre dossier live on the members program on Friday. That's going to be a great interview, by the way. I'm looking forward to it. I talked to her today a little bit about it. She's excited. I'm excited. She's never broadcasted live. This will be her first time to ever broadcast live. And she was like, can I tell you a confession? I was like, sure. She's like, I've never done this before. I was like, you've never broadcasted live? Never. I said, well, can I make a pre-confession? I've never pre-recorded before. I don't even know what that means. I've only done it live. Thank you, TJ. Thank you. Good evening, high IQ people. Gifted 1 membership. Looky there. Got more gift membos coming in. 300 angel number meaning. Realize the magnificent gifts and abilities you possess and share those treasures with the world around you. Oh, I do. Doing my best here. Wow, 10 more membos from Mr. Bruce Lee. Guys, you got to be careful with Mr. Bruce Lee. He's just showering you with gifts. Congratulations on 300,000 subscribers. Christ is king indeed. Christ is king indeed. Thank you for these congrats, guys. I appreciate it. Biblically, 300 often symbolizes divine victory, faithfulness, and the adequacy of a small chosen remnant, highlighting the strength that comes from God rather than numbers. I didn't know that. That makes sense. 30 times 10 times 10. Or 3 times 10 times 10. That makes sense. 3 like the Trinity. 10 like the commandments. Times 10. That makes sense. Love this show and community. Thank you, Bubba Baron. King Baron. Is probate something you'd be able to see records for? Charlie's probate must be messy. His, probably not. Generally, you can, but his is probably sealed, if I had to guess. Not all Joes are the same. My daughter's a Joe, Joanna. And I promise you, she will have logic. Proof is in the profile pic. Oh, what's the profile pic say? Oh, she got an RBP hat on. Yes, she seems very high IQ already. Pam says hi. Howdy. Greetings from God's time zone, Mississippi. No Southern accent here either. No siree. I don't have a Southern accent. No, I don't. Not unless I do my Foghorn Leghorn voice. Been here since the first Google Trend search. Congrats on 300,000 and keep going the Maxist. Been here long for 113 episodes. You've been here a long time. I love the reach and knowledge you give. Thank you. Congratulations, Baron. I'm light of the festive event. You really should wear a shiny sequins. Oh, in light of the festive event. Or glittery outfit. Just saying. I might wear one of those gold Elvis suits when we hit 1 million. And I'll get some fireworks. Some sparklers coming up. Some sprinkles. It'll be great. Congrats on 300. Keep going, Max. Keep going, Max, my B. Christ is King indeed. Congrats on 300. Thank you. Got a new member. But Baron, been watching since October. We are entertained by your chronic, persistent, seated flagellations, as well as your spontaneous and notable buccal flatulation. High IQ indeed. Congrats on 300. Hey, I don't know what all that means. I'm taking it as a compliment, though. Congrats on 300. Well-deserved, kind sir. I lost my father when I was 23 years old. Now I'm 17 days shy of 39. I always think of how lucky your kids are to have you as a father and a role model. Oh, sorry. I thought I hit the cough button. Thank you for that. I'm sorry for your loss. Genuinely sorry for your loss. 23 is a very tender age to lose a parent. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure there are times my kids do not think they're lucky to have me as a father. They probably every now and then are thinking, I don't want to clean my room. I don't want to put the bikes away. Christ is King. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Baron, I accidentally hit the wrong response to the poll. I'm an OG, not an op who rage watches. OMG. Love you. Christ is King indeed. Now you're not. Now you're not. Congrats, Mr. 300. Thank you, Baron and Camp Coleman. Much love. Prayers appreciated. He knows what it's for. Yeah, I've announced that. I think people have. Oh, I know what your prayers are for. Oh, Rainstorm Media. Yeah, so I believe the big Lord knows what it means. But yeah, I'll pray for you, Rainstorm Media. Eve here. My message last time was appeal to fellow fans. Most of us would be willing to pay $10 more for shirts. So guys, when you buy merch, also gift a membership on the next live. Oh, I see what you're saying. Share the love. Congrats on 300. Get well. Christ is King indeed. I see what you're saying. Yeah, we keep the price low on the merch. I've had several people say, why are you selling shirts for $16? I'm like, because I don't want to charge more than that. Sell them for what they let us sell them for. Congrats, B. The Fed slop excuse is that he had his phone in custody after Mirandized, even though he refers to turning himself in the future tense. Yeah, I saw that one as well. In other words, if I may paraphrase, and that was, I'm not saying your comment was insufficient, but let me just paraphrase. In order to believe that he sent the Discord message, You have to disregard like mountains of evidence that he turned himself in before the Discord message. Like there's mountains of evidence that he turned himself in before the Discord message. And you have to just disregard that. Oop, just give it a little tap. New nightshirt idea. Oh my gosh. You guys. Remember daily dose of vitamin C for sick adults, 1,500 milligrams. Yeah, I've been taking the last couple of days. I've been sick. I've been taking vitamin C, black seed oil, vitamin D3 and K2, but I take that every day anyway. What else have I been taking? I took quercetin and zinc the last 2 days. And I took the I word tonight before the show. I'm not allowed to say that on the tube. They censor that word. Congrats on 300,000 subscribers. Love your show. Never miss an episode since I found your channel. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Excuse my language, but go straight to Daichi double hockey sticks Gary. It's pretty low down to attack Candace's faith. I didn't know he did. Did I see that? Did I show him attacking her faith? I've been with you since around 2,000 subscribers. You've come so far in such a short time. Been a long time since you pulled a Baron. Love from Scotland. And remember, Jesus loves you. Oh, I do remember, and I hope you remember as well, Bullbutter77. If you've been around since 2,000 subscribers, you've been around since, I think, September or early October. And it has been fast. Only May. Try humming to clear your sinuses. Let us know if it works. Not sure how long you need to hum. Just don't pass out. So I hum a lot, much to the chagrin of Mrs. Coleman, because I usually wait until right before I go to bed to start it. But I did read that if you hum, it's good for your sinuses, your nasal passages, your blood pressure, and all that. And so I go, and I do different tones. Mrs. Coleman loves it. And when I say loves it, I mean she hates it. I think her most compelling argument against it was, can't you do that when you sit in your office alone all day? Why do you have to wait until you're right next to me to start doing it? And that's fair. It's fair criticism. Fair complaint. My B, you should do a member show with Dre. You had to have written that before I announced it. You had to have. There's no way you missed it. I announced it like 3 different times. But I'll allow it. EKEF, LinkedIn is gone. But I know you and Daisy have kept this on file. Side note, my Aussie hubby calls you Baza. So hello, Baza, from my hubby. Why Baza? I don't know what that means. I didn't know her LinkedIn was gone. Yeah, we've got a copy of it, of course. We've got the before and after. Let me pull it up. Oh, it is gone. Wow. And she just got her doctorate. She's Dr. Erica Kirk. Mikey, subscribe, and call Baron before midnight. Yes, Mikey. You can get my number. Too many people have it. I told my wife the other day, I was like, I need a new phone number. Candace has the video of the person on the Losi Center not taking the shot, but won't talk about it or release it. Why is she gatekeeping? She did release it. I don't think that's gatekeeping. Your username kills me. I almost made a joke, but I'm not going to. She did release it. She showed it on multiple different episodes. I don't know, unless there's a different one you're talking about, but she's shown it. She even talked about tracking down the original person and how much trouble she had to go through to find the person who actually recorded it, and that the person recorded it said that it was that he was a trained firearms inspector and he didn't think the shot was consistent with a 30-06. I mean, if there's something else, I've missed it. Sir Baron, congrats on 300. Well deserved. Have you looked into the high probability of the Trump painting the reflecting pool as a psyop to reroute the water for his ballroom data center? No, I've not. I don't know how that would work. Christ is king indeed. I don't know how painting the floor of a pool would reroute water a mile away. Reminder to everyone that Hanta is not transmissible between people. The only study to ever claim such was found to be fraudulent. Folks are not spreading the virus amongst themselves. They shared exposures. Oh, well, that's good news. But Baron, please turn off the GIFs option. Completely ruining the chat. Thank you. I didn't know there was such a thing. What's ruining it about it? I don't know. I don't even know what a gift is. I've never given one. Baron, have you seen the Leah files on YouTube? She seems high IQ like you. By the way, I'm back to church after years away. Thanks, Christ is King indeed. Super lineman, it's funny you mentioned that because I was talking to another podcaster. She may not want me to say who she is, so I'm not going to say, but I was talking to another podcaster today, and we talked about that very thing, about how amazing it is, how wonderful it is, how many people write in are like, I'm going back to church for the first time in decades or years. And it's so moving. I have seen Leah Files on YouTube. I think she's only done 2 shows on YouTube, I think, but they were both good. If she's done more, I've only seen 2, but they were both excellent. She does a good job. I've seen a lot of her Twitter stuff. Her Twitter stuff's good. Chicken korma for dinner. It was great. That is all, Mr. Compton. I like chicken korma. I like chicken korma. Gifted 5 membos, says Bella Stella. Here's 20 just to hear you say plump finger again. Yeah, well, it is plump. There's a plump finger. You've seen the picture, right? That was a unit. That was a real finger there. I mean, that finger's been trained. I don't know if it's trained from pointing, from like, maybe she plays a lot of paper football or something. I don't know. What else would you do with your finger to train it? No, that'd be like flipping quarters would be your big thumb. Pulling pew-pews. That could train a finger. It's plump. Powerful finger. Can't wait to see Dre on Friday. Yes, I can't either. I'm excited. Congratulations on 300. Been celebrating my birthday since Friday. So let's keep it going with your milestone and your promotion to Granddad. Oil of oregano. Danks is right. Feel better soon. I forgot about oil of oregano. Let me see if I can get. You think Amazon has that overnight? Oil of oregano. I took the black seed oil. Someone said to take it with that. He had a brand he recommended, or that he took, that he was taking. Let's see if I can find the same one. Woo! They're proud of the oregano. Wow. Maybe I'll stick with the black seed oil. Holy mackerel. Like $40 for an ounce. 1 ounce. It's like weed prices. I don't know what weed goes for these days. That may be completely out of line with current pricing. I don't know. I'll have to look for this later because I want to look for that brand he was recommending because he was saying it kept him healthy. But yeah, thank you. I'll feel better. You were made for this. Never a boring episode. Keep honest and going back. I'll do my best. Hey, I make some mistakes sometimes, but I do my best to correct them on the fly if necessary. But Baron, you liked my comment replying to Andrea Burkhart's post on X today. So I told my kids I have a high IQ and no one can tell me any different now. God bless you and all you do. Christ is King. I actually remember that comment because I didn't like very many of them. I just looked at a couple and I did click one. So I had no idea it was you. You are high IQ. I liked it a lot. Her son in the photo must have acromegaly. Acromegaly. I'll allow it. I don't know what that means, but sure he does. Is that where you get your mom has big fingers? I know this is hyperbolic, but the way they're going about lying about Robinson borders on legality to me. That's not hyperbolic. Thank you. You've absolutely earned and deserved this accomplishment. 300. Amazing work, Baron, Sis, and Daisy. Yeah, it's team effort. Team effort. Doctor went great. Thanks for the prayers, jury. God is good. Time for bed. Catch you on replay. Feel better. Be praying for you. Christ is King indeed. Thank you, Cubby. Thank you. Glad to hear about the doctor. During Kansas show yesterday, Salem announced they were selling to Waterstone in Colorado Springs. CEO is friends with Victor Marks. Current AG is also running for governor and cannot pursue DAF Waterstone lawsuit without looking like weaponizing office. I didn't hear this. Waterstone, Salem. Let me look that up. Salem Media to be acquired by Waterstone in major growth deal. How is that a growth deal? They're paying a 250% premium over current stock price. That's ludicrous. Who's the head of Waterstone? Doesn't say. Okay, about Waterstone. Waterstone is a Christian foundation dedicated to advancing kingdom impact through faithful stewardship, generosity, and mission-driven leadership. Through its charitable giving strategies and long-term investments, Waterstone partners with individuals, families, ministries, and organizations to support lasting faith-based impact and strengthen future Christian institutions and outreach. That seems like a payoff. Why would you pay a 250% premium? Just go buy the stock on the market. Like a 25% premium, fine, whatever. 250? SEC should look into that. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. Argument 2. No, you. Oh. What was argument 2? Argument 2 was the nuh-uh. Yeah, okay, I'll buy that. Humble host, could you explain legal parameters for reasonable doubt sometimes? Member show, maybe? I overthought it, and now I'm confused. Thanks, Christ is King. Indeed. The legal parameters for reasonable doubt, I don't 100% know what you're asking, but if you're asking me to define reasonable doubt, the way I like to define it is almost absolutely certain, meaning there can be some small thing you're not really that clear on. But when it comes to the element of a crime, if you have any reasonable doubt, I mean, if you have any reasonable reason, hard to define. If there's any part of you who says that just doesn't sound right, then it's a not guilty. Any part. So Tyler Robinson, I'm trying to do it YouTube friendly, pulled the pew pew boomstick and fired a 30-06 round into Charlie Kirk and caused his death, right? If any part of that, if you look at the wound and you go, I don't know. I mean, I know that everything else in the case looks about right. I believe he planned it. But that wound is just not consistent with a 30-06. Not guilty. Not guilty. If you look at it and say, I just don't believe the guy could plan and execute this by himself. I don't think they've proven that beyond, I still have some lingering doubt in my, not guilty. Like even if you buy it's a 30-06 and you buy it's his 30-06 and you just think, no, I don't believe he's the one that did it. Not guilty. I guess that's what you're asking. I saw a vid about EK trying to sidestep CK's trust and take ownership of his name, likeness, and parents are fighting it. You see this? Let me go one before I answer your question. Let me say one thing. I'm not aware of any documentation of that. I hear people saying it, and I don't know why. Not one person has put up that I've seen a document and say, here's how I know it. I see a lot of people quoting other YouTubers, quoting people on TikTok, quoting people on Twitter. I don't see a single person that's pulled up a document and said, here's the lawsuit. Here's the fight. Here's what it is. You notice on this program, and even still, we get it wrong sometimes. We don't try to, but sometimes, like on the date tonight, sometimes you pull it up and you look at the wrong day. But at least I pull up papers. But you got to pull something up. You got to show me something. Congratulations on 300,000 subscribers. Woohoo. Woohoo indeed. Hi, Baron. You're not the only one who always checks to see what helicopter flying over. My 4-year-old insists on it. My 9-year-old also prefers to stand to eat. You should have brilliant kids. You have brilliant kids. I don't know anything other thing to say. Your kids are absolutely brilliant. Last episode on nightshirts. Who sleeps in clothes anyway? Psychos. Well. Now we know why Baron in the Buff Coleman is holding out on us clothes-wearing nightshirt psychos. Inside on pros and cons of buffing. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I feel like I'm being attacked by my clothes in the bed. Like if like when you roll over, they're all over you. It's like they're grabbing you and pulling at you. Whereas if you're free to move about the cabin, you don't get that situation. You just roll over and you just roll over. You don't have to pull on anything. You don't have to adjust anything. No brainer. No brainer. I don't trust people who do sleeping clothes. Wouldn't that provide every right to have it thrown out due to the wrong arrest date? No. Because they're not. Why are you yelling at me? Because they're not saying he wasn't arrested. They're just. Now, I think if they're lying in the documents, the defense has an avenue to pursue. As far as this, he didn't even show up till 10:26. Well, if he was there before 10:26, that's a problem. That's a real problem. But again, the probable cause statement is not going to be in front of the jury, so that's a problem with the judge. Gray Hughes investigates. That's what he says. B Daddy Grand IMO. I'm your number one fan in Rockingham, West Australia. Your grounded, no nonsense, devastatingly witty, high IQ, and leadership is so appreciated and respected. Big love from our fan to yours, my B. Wow, those are awfully kind words. Thank you. Much love to your family. I'm convinced the people responsible for removing Charlie have inadvertently exposed that Erica Kirk is somewhere within their circles. I think she might have inadvertently exposed that people would have reasonable suspicion. Let's use the Terry versus Ohio standard. Reasonable and articulable suspicion. That's the stop and frisk standard. The lady with the plump finger. I didn't realize that was going to be a hit when I said it. I've never looked at people's hands the same thanks to that very high IQ members live. Congrats on 300,000, B. Thank you. Yeah. Once you know about the finger ratio, the world's a different place. You can't go back. It's like a red pill. You take it, your eyes are open. You can't unlearn that. Danks used Claude AI to research how often prosecution asks for a speedy trial, reserved primarily for defense, rarely one for prosecution victim. I've never heard of it. This is the first case I've ever heard of it. And Utah is the only jurisdiction I've ever heard it. I've looked around. I don't think any other jurisdiction that I can find has it. Maybe some other state that has it. I'm getting a call from one of my children who apparently is not watching. Granddad, soon you'll be able to recite the poem you wrote for your daughter to your granddaughter. How amazing. Oh, gosh. Congratulations. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Prayer, please. Found out last week my dog has an aggressive oral cancer. This is the second person that we in our audience that has a dog with mouth cancer. Weird. I never heard of such. I've had her since 7.5 weeks old, and she's about to turn 8 in a month. I don't know what I'll do without her. I've got a theory about this with dogs and cancer. I think the vets are purposely making your dog sick. I'm going to get yelled at by vets. But I mean, you load up these animals with shots and stuff. Not like they're FDA approved. It's a Chucky chuckle. Yikes, run away fast. Oh, I thought it was a reasonable chuckle, a very sensible chuckle. That Andrea's chuckle is demonic. Don't fall for it. Oh, gosh. I kind of liked it. You know, I'm a fan of her chuckle. Well, you don't get 8 kids sleeping in nightclub. Oh, no. Just saying, shrug. P.S. Mrs. Coleman's amazing. She is amazing. Oh, gosh. See, this is what happens when I just say stuff. Now I'm in trouble. I know she's going to find out about this conversation. Te amaro, Baron. Gracias, Mrs. Coleman, for kindly allowing your brilliant high IQ husband to share his precious time with us. Darling Gamini. Thank you. I love you too, darling. Wow, I know Rumble. Apparently Candace as well. Anyway, thanks for all you do. Yeah, I don't know if I spoiled that for you guys, for her or not. She's one of the people I bounced the idea off of. Apologize. Serious business. No, I don't want to get too deep into the mechanics behind the scenes, but simulcasting with Rumble was causing some problems that that I felt like Rumble should address, and I talked to them many times about it over the course of several months. This is not something I just did overnight just because I was frustrated. I'm not really frustrated. It's just like fix the problem, and they don't, and they don't. I like Rumble. I want to be a good Rumble partner. I want to use Rumble. I want to simulcast too there, but right now I just can't make it happen. Bubba Baron, the movie In the Bedroom, has a great cast, and you see each cast member, you realize what a high power movie it is. Christ is King indeed, Cohen film. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. I'm out of the loop. What happened to other intro? It's gone. We've changed intros, but thank you. Had a nice 10 episode run. It's a tactical cackle, not a chuckle. Cackle. I wouldn't call it a cackle. Cackle seems to like deceptive. Like he cackled. She chuckled. Maybe she cackled. I think she chuckled. I don't think she cackled. I've never trusted someone who cackles. Hillary Clinton cackles. Paramount impractical plump fingers. Ha ha. Does he have plump fingers? I didn't even look. If you can comment, what is your confidence in the defense out of 10 so far? Subject to change, of course. I feel like I'm about an 8 to 10 personally. I mean, let me define the scale. 1 out of 10 means they're in the tank for the other side. 3 out of 10 just means they're incompetent. 5 out of 10 means take them or leave them. You can find better, but they're not the worst. 7 out of 10 means they're doing a pretty good job. You know, they're not super polished, but haven't seen any major missteps. 8 out of 10 is a step above that. Like they've actually made a few tactical steps that you're like, wow, that was impressive. 9 and 10 is at this point in the investigation nearly impossible to determine because that's going to get to trial tactics, and we're not there yet. So I think 7 or 8 out of 10, and I think that's a high grade. There's nothing wrong with that. So glad Ian discovered your show. Been a big fan. Fellow homeschooler as well. Probably be asleep before reading this super chat. Well, I hope you're snoozing well. Put your earbuds in. You can go sleep to your humble host. Baron, careful or you'll get hoodwinked by Fed sloppers. No, not your humble host. No. It was a sensible chuckle. That's all. Emailed you a very clear, simple, easy to read, visual timeline I created to support your Tyler arrest timeline. You are 100% correct. I knew that before I saw your timeline. Email subject is Tyler Robinson timeline easy. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Christ is King, love you. I might check that out. But you don't have to convince me. I already get it. I already got it. Congrats on 300, Mr. Coleman. Love your podcast. Always learn so much. Thank you for all you do. You know what's interesting about the 300,000? 3,000 was a milestone that I remember clearly. I was on a plane with my sister when I checked the subscriber count, or maybe I was in an airport. But I was with my sister. We were going to my niece's wedding in California. Beautiful wedding, by the way. Wow, stunning. It was like a fairy tale wedding. Amazing. And I looked down and it was 3,000. I was like, can you believe this? 3,000 subscribers? I remember that very clearly. I remember that. I remember 40,000 for some reason. I remember 100, 200, 250, 300. I don't remember much of the other ones, but those stuck in my head. Did Discord not make a statement early on stating these messages were not on their servers and didn't come from their platform? Just curious if I may have missed something. Love you. Bye. I don't know that their statement was that definitive. What I remember hearing was, and I'd have to go back and look. I don't recall precisely. But I remember them saying that it wasn't planned on their servers. I don't recall them saying it wasn't discussed, but maybe. I mean, I have to go back and look. Mississippi pot roast, Wickles in the bedroom, all great recommendations. Christ is King, indeed. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, we're really killing it. Food, garnish, movie. I mean, you make a Mississippi pot roast. Hear me out. rent in the bedroom on whatever streaming service it is. Get it ready for the night. Have it ready to go. Get your Mississippi pot roast ready. Get you a big old bowl of it or a plate, however you do it at your house. And then garnish it with about 6 or 8 Wickles. About every 4th bite of Mississippi pot roast, throw down one of those Wickles. Kind of cleanse the palate, add a little additional sour and heat. Oh, what a night. What a night. And go to bed naked. Perfect night. Perfect night. I shouldn't have said that. But Baron, his messages happened on a potty break during his 3.5-hour police car ride. I don't know about that. Cash said himself, TR was in custody within 33 hours. So if he was caught the evening of the 12th, wouldn't that be 48 plus hours? 6:25 p.m. on the 11th is 30 hours post Big Bang, so the 11th makes more sense. I'm pretty sure Cash's timeline was accounting for like a 10 or 10:30 turn in, maybe 9:30. I don't know if that's accurate. I think that's what he was saying. Congrats on 300, Baron. I found you September, October last year. Your podcast is still my drug of choice, Kristen. Critter, thank you. Happy to be your drug of choice. Your comments are my drug of choice. Feel better already. No attorneys combine videos. Thank you, Jill of all trades. Seasoned lawyer, though you are. It would defeat the purpose. They're either ignorant of the process or dishonest. Burkhart's laugh is intentionally condescending. Not a fan of condescending lawyers. I also am not a fan of condescending lawyers. I didn't interpret her laugh that way. But I will go back and watch again with that in mind. Maybe I'll change my mind. But yes, you are 100% correct. Video 3396 is from September 11th. I'm convinced. No one is going to convince me that 3396, R1 or R2, has anything from Utah County from September 12th. That's not what bait stamping is. That's not what discovery is. Every source gets its own number. That's just the process. Did you hear about Alec Murdaugh? Thought? Yeah, that was an interesting one. I did read about that. I was looking for the actual opinion. I didn't find it, but I did find the brief and read it. I'm going to read all of it. I skimmed it. I thought he made a compelling argument that the one question I had in my mind reading it, honestly, is it sounded to me like they were aware of this the whole trial. And I don't know why they didn't try to, for purposes of judicial economy, raise it to the judge at the trial court. But maybe they did. I don't know. But what happened was, it sounded like the clerk was kind of aiding jurors in a way that predisposed them to not believe Murdaugh. Watch his body language. See if he looks honest to you. That kind of stuff. And that, confident in the case, just try the case. Just try the case. Put the case on and let the jury decide. He was already going to be in prison for the financial crimes. Sounds like the judge is examining evidence like a grand jury in other states. Yes, it's very similar. Very similar process. Has there been a video request from Utah County Station? That I don't know. I think the request from the news organization to the Washington County Station tells us all we need to know about what time he was turned in. Because if it was consistent, they would have just released it. Here he is at 10:30 walking through the parking lot with his parents. Here he is at 10:32 walking through the front door. I mean, why are you hiding it if it's not a lie? Doesn't make any sense. So there's video of him turning himself in and will be dated. It sounds like there's video of him there. I don't know about turning himself in. Simple question, who conducted the interrogation at 6:25 if Washington County arguing the date is irrelevant? Well, that's the question. We don't know. Didn't say it in the pleadings. Chuckles is miles above Gary on tactical in the propaganda persuasion field. Yeah, I didn't say I believed everything she said. I said but like, a broken watch is right twice a day, right? She might have been right on this. And as she was talking, I was like, yeah, maybe, maybe she is right. Then I was like, whoa. Would the defense raise it at this stage? And then I convinced myself they wouldn't. After your last show, I'm completely convinced of a coordinated plan to frame Tyler Robinson. Absolutely brilliant. I agree with you. Everything you just said is brilliant. You're doing meaningful, hard, and definitely high IQ work, Mr. B. And I thank you and your family with all my heart. Well, thank you. Thank you for your comment with all my heart. Can you share your thoughts on the Prime Minister's 60 Minutes interview? I haven't watched it. I don't know that I will. I heard it was so heavily edited to make him look better. Why am I going to watch that? I like to see raw, long form video. I want to see some edited interview. Started late and watching at 2X. Made my day to see you mimic Andrea's tactical chuckle at 2X. Had to rewatch a few times. Writing my first ever super chat just for this. Prayers for you and the fam. Thank you for the prayers. I'll go back and watch the chuckle at 2X. I want to experience what you experienced. Utah preliminary hearing requirement only to have low burden is still sad because every day that goes by, a potentially not guilty TR has his freedom stripped away, sitting in jail for 8 months waiting. It's going to be longer than 8 months. I think people should get compensated for the time they spend if they get acquitted or the charges are dropped. I really do. Now, I understand the counter argument to that is then the state won't do it. Like they'll know they got an innocent person, but they'll convict them anyway because they don't want to pay the compensation. Don't make it ridiculous compensation. Give them 45 grand a year. Give them annual median income for the United States or whatever. But they should get paid if you take them and hold them for a year and then they're acquitted. Or 2 years or 3 years. There's some people in prison 2-3 years and then get acquitted. You wrecked their lives. Not to mention they got all these news articles saying they did it, and when are they going to get a job after that? We need to check the mega data of those videos and the chain of custody. Also, the dates of the Mirandas and the alleged text is really relevant. All the evidence looked framed to me. Lots of discrepancy. I agree with you on all that. Will you do a show on the tribunals? What tribunals? I don't know what tribunals you're talking about. When I hear tribunals, I think military tribunals. Please do a collab with Lance Twiggs. I imagine Lance has consulted with an attorney who's instructed him not to discuss this case at all. Booking Doc said he was arrested outside Utah County. Correct. At 10 p.m. on September 11th. Baron, what's date in 9/12/158 on book sheet when TR arrived at Utah County? That's my understanding, and I think that's correct. Could 3996, you mean, be the same body cam source that would have filmed 9/11 and 9/12? They forced TR to post Discord after Miranda's and planning. It doesn't say it's body cam footage. I don't think it's body worn camera footage. Could they force him to post? Yeah, I mean, I guess they could force him to, but that'd be really dangerous because then he just testified that they forced me to say this and they manufactured evidence and they committed a crime. I don't know about that. Sequins glitter, I refer to as Eric America. You should turn down the red channel in your display settings. It will help you look less flushed. I mean, unless you prefer that. If so, by all means, my rude interruption. The red channel? Hold, please. I didn't know I looked flushed. How do I turn down the red channel? Stream health? Stream settings? I don't know about all this. I don't see a red channel in stream settings. You're just going to deal with a flushed Baron. And no, I was. I might be a little sunburned, maybe. Somebody needs to file a lawsuit against Gary for online bullying. No, I'm a free speech absolutist. He's fine. Can we call him Gary Meltdown? Sure. Baby Baron, I love when you so elegantly dismantle Gary, but I don't think he'll get it. I heard he was the descendant of Kandahar giant. Wears a big hat. Not much else going on. Christ is king indeed. He has a very long head. You would think with a head that long, he would have a large cranial cavity, but apparently not. Christ is king indeed. I'm sick too. What's going on? I don't know. I got one kid that's sick with me. Erica invented the internal combustion engine, too. I was unaware. Glad you have a sense of humor and thick skin. Appreciate your authenticity, honesty, and truth-telling. Yeah, Gary's never going to bother me. I don't care what he says. He will never bother me. Our humble host is a tactical giggle survivor. We almost lost you. Only the very high IQ can survive. Christ is king indeed. It was a close call. It was touch and go there for a moment. Gary has one-upped Joe. He proves people right when he's trying to prove them wrong. If a train wreck was a person, it would be Gary. I'm talking about Gary. Gary Milton Burrell. Okay. What happened with the jolly music before starting? We switched musics. Thank you. Snorts. Yeah. YouTube did me so dirty. I can't believe it. I'll never broadcast the same way again. I had no idea they caught all the snorts. I 200% know Tyler Robinson was put in Utah County jail cell just after 2 a.m. 9/12. I have a person who had eyes on him. They told everyone who he was. My source told me at 5 a.m. Well, let me do a little math here. Let me Google map this. So we have the Washington County Sheriff, Utah. Okay, there we go. Got that one. Let's do a direction search to the Utah County Sheriff. There we go. Oh, didn't show it. Utah County Jail. It says it's 3 hours and 26 minutes is the fastest, which means they would have had to leave by 10:30 to get there. And if he didn't turn himself into 10:26, that would be cutting it very close. Cut it very, very close. So I tend to agree with you, by the way. So where's the Utah County Jail? It is south of Provo. It's a pretty building. Good architecture in Utah. Everything in Utah is top notch. It's a great state. Turkey Tom has ties to Hunter Kozak. I'll email you. Oh, please do. I had no idea. I had no idea whatsoever. Lazarus Love, thank you. Not a new thought, but EK is the only one person who had access to Charlie Kirk necklace. Believes she alone had to give the go to resign her husband in the end. Based off her constant lies and theoretical nonsense. Christ is king, indeed. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, that's a point I've made many times is her own testimony or her own statement to Jesse Waters is that he came in the morning of the Big Bang and grabbed the necklace and the wedding ring. The necklace he supposedly never took off, but he had to grab it, and that would have been an opportune time to switch it out if something like that happened. Last night, a super chat asked Valhalla to do a member show with you. He said he liked the idea and said he would reach out to you to see about coordinating, as his Mitch crash out is still confusing to me. Convo for clarity. I like Valhalla. I've talked to him many times. Happy to do a member show with him. I hope he does reach out. I'll ask him that. Like, what the hell was that all about? So, Mitch Snow, what you got? Nope. Interested to hear what he has to say. Maybe I won't even mention it before we go live. I'll mention that I'm going to ask him, but I won't ask him for his answer. I want to react in real time with you guys. I get on X for fun occasionally. No one gets on X for fun. You're lying. If you'll lie to me about that, Lisa, you'll lie about anything. X is like a war zone. They're more like toddlers having a tantrum. Precisely, that's what I mean. Yelling no, no, no over and over like it changes anything. You can usually reason with a 5-year-old at least a little bit, but not toddler. I have a 5-year-old. Snorts merch. Stat. Nah, people get the wrong idea on that. People think we're promoting drug use or something. The Turkey Tom leaker, none other than our favorite infiltrator, Nick Shirley. How does he keep doing it? He's incredible. Yeah, I got issues with Nick Shirley. Not issues. I just curious about the authenticity or the organic. I don't know. Andrew Burkhart is horse laughing and coming across as a mean girl. You have read the Logic book. Good job. That's an informal fallacy. So sneaky. Keep up the great work, Baron. Yeah, but she pulled it off. I find her likable. I mean, I really do. I don't always agree with what she says, but I do find her likable. So Gary is so bad at working for the other side that I've wondered if he's trying to leak info to our side. He's done a good job. State versus Mooseman, Utah Court of Appeals, 1990. Magistrate lacks the authority to suppress evidence at a preliminary hearing, so it's too early for defense to bring. Yeah. I agree with you. Jill of all trades, thank you for sharing that. So having talented lawyers in the audience does. I just want to say congratulations, Granddad. Thank you. Thank you. Very happy. So disappointed that I watched a lot of Paramount impractical vids in the beginning because of his knowledge in the field. I'm so glad I'm now high IQ. Thank you, Baron, for all you do. That's how I found him. He was questioning the 30-06 narrative, and I was like, yeah, finally, somebody who gets it. I was watching him. Heavy Duty Country had some 30-06 videos. Chris Martinson had some 30-06 videos. Who else? There were several creators doing videos on that at the time. They pretty much all unanimously concluded it was the wrong round. And then all of a sudden, Gary was like, yeah, but it's the right round. About the same time he started attacking everybody. Discord's a joke. Fed sloppers are a bunch of clowns. Baron, you are the high IQ outfit. Proud to be part of the 300,000. Congrats. Take some oil of oregano like Dank showed. Get better beat. Yeah, I've got it pulled up now. Do I still? Yeah, I've still got it pulled up. I'm going to order some. I got to find the brand. I know what brand Nature Made, I think is what he said. I need to find the brand he was recommending because he liked it. Paramount and Practical. That's correct. Every time I hear you or Candace say the name Gary Melton, I picture Milton from Office Space. Gary's basically the tactical version of Milton. Excuse me, may I please have my stapler bag? Excuse me, may I please have my stapler bag? Paramount Tactical equals Gary Meltdown. Yeah, not a bad name. Stick with your gut, Baron. Yes, my gut is does not often let me down. Christ is king indeed. Rested on 9/11, not 19. Yeah. I fixed it. I'm glad you guys caught me. I was looking at the wrong date. Yep, looking at the wrong date. You got me. Red-handed. Team Snorts. Congratulations on 300,000. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, they did me dirty on that. 9/12, 7 a.m. press conference. Governor Cox answers a question live at the 16:55-ish mark, stating that TR was already booked in the Utah County Jail. AM, not PM, for all the Joes. He was booked in by 9/12, by 7 a.m. on 9/12. They're cooking the records with Crisco, it seems. Stay away from that. Ugh. Who's game for a records request? Oh, by all means, let me know what happens. I'm happy to share it with you when you get something. Happy 36, Tom, and thanks for being my sunshine. Oh, you're sweet. Tom's a good man. Sunshine. Was the 10th the day Charlie was shot? I thought the 11th. Yes. I got it. Thank you. Yay, Baron, you made it. I officially have both my Baronism crew and HP mug and have discovered that I feel off on days you're not on. Aha. We need you. Yeah, I was going to try to do a show last night. I had the whole show prepared, ready to go. And the longer I sat here, I thought, I am sick. Like, I will not get through a show tonight. I have got to boot. So I decided not to do it. And then I had to go to a meeting. I didn't tell them I was sick, though. I didn't tell them I was sick. I don't think I'm contagious. I think I got like a little sinus issue going on. Thank you for all the time and effort you put into this high IQ outfit since Rush. Your show is one of the few that makes me feel smarter for having listened. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. That's very high praise. And this is why we love Baron, humble and honest. Elite. Yeah, I know. I'm not afraid to correct myself. At shift change, people wait to be processed. Same if they had things like a combative prisoner or something like that. Well, that's good to know. Thank you, certified journal photographer. Very kind of you. Did you do a search using the Wayback Machine for the arrest record? Christ is king and happy belated Mother's Day to Mrs. C. Yeah, but the arrest record wouldn't be in Washington County. It would be in Utah County. We already have that. We know what that says. Short sleeve women's holy mackerel shirt, please. Nurse Casey, paging Nurse Casey. We have a request. Holy mackerel. Give the great and humble host a break, my fellow jurors. He's got a summer cold. Get the man a pillow and cuddle blanket. Stat. Yeah, the problem is I don't sleep well when I don't feel well. When you go to a steakhouse, your steak is outstanding. Medium rare. The service was outstanding. You tip very well. That's how I feel when Baron's on. First membership ever. Keep up the best content ever. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you. And be sure to tip your server. Congrats on 300. Appreciate continued prayers. Found the indictment of former senior advisor, Dr. Morin, NIAID, to be the world's most famous and widely despised doctor. Interesting. Keep going, Max. Christ is King indeed. I didn't see that. Is there an indictment here? Oh, there it is. Former senior NIAID official indicted for concealing federal records during the COVID-19 pandemic. That is interesting. I'll have to read about that. Thank you. I did not catch that. Baron, congrats on the 300,000 subscribers. We appreciate all your hard work in bringing the important info to this high IQ outfit. Go Max. Will do. Hannibal directive very clearly why so many people passed on 10-7. You said it. I didn't disagree with you. Is it Mississippi pot roast with chicken thighs? Mississippi pot roasted chicken, Mississippi chicken thighs. Either way, me and the wife loved the recipe. Had it tonight. We love the show. God bless. I'll allow it with chicken thighs, sure, because I like chicken thighs. But it's supposed to be done with a chuck roast. That's a technical Mississippi pot roast is a chuck roast. TR always very calm. Anyone looked into another why, such as money issues enticing him to go along for money because it's a weak case? Also, has anyone talked to the manager of the Tennessee factory who abruptly quit right before it blew up? I have. And he was not amused that I called him. That was months ago. That was in October. I called him and there were some F words. There was some don't ever call me. There was an MF there at the end. He declined to be interviewed. Mikey said, look into Andrew. And here we are. Yes. If you going to come after me, be right. Baron Coleman. Hey, Gary, who's the hat now? Not whelmed, G. Christ is King indeed. Congrats from one of 300,000. Thank you. I appreciate that. Former Senator Curtis. Utah has a special relationship with our greatest ally. It runs deeper than just having a Jordan River or national park called Zion. Our ties are cultural, spiritual, and enduring. I was unaware Utah had such a unique relationship. Baron, it's been said the Hannibal directive, when implemented on 10-7, stories I've read show the hats were ruthless. Christ is King indeed. That's the rumor. Do we know whose account was used to log in to get the Discord screenshot and what time zone they were in when they got it? I don't know the first part. I think Ken Klippenstein was in Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken, when he screen capped it. So that would have been 8:57 Central Time, would have been 7:57 Mountain Time. Melissa, thank you. Allegedly. Oh, yeah, we covered that. I don't want to say it too many times. People get weirded out. I'm afraid the algorithm will pick it up. First super chat, your ability to explain all these things in a way that's very understandable to all is unprecedented. Unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. One of the best podcasts on the air right now. Got to have my daily dose of Baron and Candace. Thank you. I think she called me the after party one time. I'll allow it. Baron, I'm an old boomer lady. There's no way that AK is sponge-worthy. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. That's a Seinfeld reference, ladies and gentlemen. Elaine Bennis. It's a hoodie I no longer even wear anymore. Oh, yeah, the blue one. Yeah, I don't wear that one on the air anymore. It was a favorite go-to. I like the way it fit, and it was a favorite go-to to work out in the winter, and it's now reserved for working out in the winter. Let's say that. Can you please make a Don't Feed Me Fed Slop t-shirt for your merch store? I'll add that to the list. Nurse Casey, I think, is going to roll out 4 or 5 new pieces, either maybe early next week. Some good ones. And then the plan, I think, is she's working on some more to roll out after that. So I'm not sure when all that'll come out, but there's some coming out soon. Could you make a deep dive into Elizabeth Lane? Is that her real name? I worry CO let her in her home. Christ is king indeed. Is there a particular concern? I'm talking about the journalist, Elizabeth Lane, the podcaster. I don't know what I'll ask. I mean, I talked to her. I'll ask her. There's a way too many numbers involved with the Freemasons. 33-hour manhunt. All three Trump's attempts had 33 as well. New headlines on the bug read 33, 8, 17, 1, 7 fallen angels. I believe that's why this keeps happening. I don't know. You're way above me on that one. Like, I don't even know what the 3 Trump attempt 33s are. I'm trying to think of that. I don't know. I believe you. I'll allow it. Did you say Hannibal director or Hannibal Lecter? Yeah, funny. I've only walked out of 2 movies in my life. Hannibal was the second one. Pure Luck was the first. Stupid movie. It was so stupid. I got about 20 minutes in. I was like, this is dumb. I have to leave. Martin Short was in that. And then Hannibal was I don't know if it's a follow-on movie or it was a sequel, but it was the movie that came after Silence of the Lambs. I was not a fan. I got about 30 minutes into it and thought, ugh. That's what OGA and AK want to do with 10-7 here in the U.S. with TPUSA, a tour of churches. Tour to churches with a reality touch. Yeah, I saw that. They're going to have a pop-up experience or something in the parking lots where they're. It's creepy. Sleer, Amazing Relief. Look it up. Thank me later. Discovered during 19. Would never without it now. I'll look it up right now. 12-hour decongestant nasal spray. Yeah, why not? Congrats on 300,000. Been high IQ community since member 1125. Thank Barron family team and all the Barronites. Thank you. Very kind of you. Emailed you the new Real Barron podcast theme songs. I do it for funsies. 6 years sober. Need an outlet. Hope you like. Thank you. I'll check it out. You're, is that Erica Kirk in your little avatar there? Why is she looking at me like that? Stop looking at me like that. Creepy. Stop. Ugh. Hi, Baron, long-time listener, first-time super chatter. Your channel is my first membership. You never forget your first. Keep doing what you're doing. It's excellent work, sir. Well, grateful to be aboard the truth-telling Christ is King train. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for saying Christ is King indeed. Thank you. There's a video of him being Mirandized. Would the background of the video not show the location? Yeah, I would think so. Gary is impractical and airy. Bad combo, even worse results. I love your podcast, GBC. Christ is King indeed. Thank you, Purple Heart. Ask this question for a subscriber, BY1. Are you aware of the Facebook post made by the Washington County's Attorney's Office made on 9/12 that states Tyler was arrested last night? 300,000. Congrats. I was not aware of that. I'll look it up. My favorite podcast. Congratulations to be in and proud to be in the first 300,000. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking time from your family for this. I learned so much from you and Candace. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I sent a a while ago. You didn't understand about the FLDS polygamy following Mount Zion. I don't remember that. Huge amounts of money going to them through Arizona, Utah, child moving, etc. I can't help but feel it's connected. I don't know about it. I ordered another shirt today for your 300,000. It comes with a signature. I wouldn't be mad. Randall? I'll send you something, brother. I'm not going to tell people where you live, but if you still live in the town that I knew you lived in, I'll send it to you. I'll send you something. Randall's the goat. Randall is the goat. He doesn't feed goats. He is the goat. P.S. Congrats on 300,000. Get well soon. Thank you. Oh, I need to make a note of that. Hold on. Hold, please. Congrats. Can't be happier for the high IQ family. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you. My B. Watching your podcast has expanded my vocabulary. I voluntarily shout out Edge. Say shabba ding dong and quick quack. Anyone else? Well, Edge. Gary must be from Rio Linda. Oh, that's a throwback to the great one. El Rushbo. Thank you for your voice on loan, brother. Maybe at 1 million subs, you can get a golden RBP microphone. Keep going, Max. Christ is King indeed. I like the Shure mic better than the Electro Voice RE20, so I would have to, I don't know if they make this in gold. Maybe I'll get it leafed. I got a backup Shure mic. Maybe I can get it leafed. Thank you, Emily. The Silent. What a great name for someone who just drops money and doesn't say anything. Emily the Silent. And never a more descriptive username, ever. Feds leaking information to podcasters seem to pick people who would not question the validity of their so-called inside information. Yes, I questioned the validity of the information I got here recently. Congrats on 300,000 subs from another Australian fan. Good day, mate. Hey, Baron, new member here. I'm also an RN, MSN. I have some info on Washington County, Utah. I'll be emailing you some crucial info as my fam knows this county well. Unfortunately, I'll send it to you. Why would it be unfortunate that you know the county? I mean, maybe that's going to be in your statement there. We'll find out. Love Foghorn Leghorn and the dancing eyebrows. I forgot about those. Huckabee was on the list with more. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, there were a lot of weirdos on that list. Congrats, been here since October. Happy to be here for 300,000. Sally. Jesus loves you. Thank you. Thank you. Jesus loves you too. More. No, I think he loves everyone the same. Never done this before. Checking. Check. 1, 2, 3. Is the mic on? Learning. What in the world does Go Max mean? I've been hearing it for months. Thank you, Baron. Excited new member here. Christ is King indeed. I know what that means. So I'll show you the video if I can find it. Where it came from. So this is, let's see if I can, here, I'll play this. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Oh, yeah. Here's your video, madam. Oh, let me pull it up.
By the pro-Israel crowd for his remarks at the Turning Point event. Charlie also had threats from donors thereafter saying, if you don't get rid of Tucker Carlson, like, we're done. And he had received some threats about that even before Tucker's appearance. And he said, well, I'm bringing him anyway. And that's all been documented. This is kind of water under the bridge, but I'm showing it to you for a different purpose. Tucker on that broadcast said the following about his backstage conversations with Charlie before he went out there.
Before that speech that I gave in July, we had a conversation about this backstage right before I went on. And I was fulminating and getting all red in the face like I often do to my shame. And I was mad thinking about this and thinking about the effort by the neocons in the United States to draw us in to another forever war with Iran. It's not a defense of Iran, of course. It's merely an acknowledgement that we've done this before. This happened in Iraq, which we entered into at the behest of those same foreign policy strategists, and it didn't work. And so I was going on at some length backstage with Charlie, and I said, probably not going to talk about that. I'm not going to torture you. I know your donors hate this when I say that. And also Epstein was in the news, and it was clear to me that, Epstein's probably not like a Mossad agent or something, but Epstein clearly had contact with Israeli intelligence and American intelligence and French intelligence, but the only one you're not allowed to talk about is Israeli intelligence. But it seemed true to me, and I had done some work on that. I knew a bunch of people pretty close to that story, so I thought that. And I said that to Charlie. And I said, but I'm not going to say that because I don't want to make your donors mad. I know it's just going to be like an endless flurry of text telling you to stop or you're going to lose a bunch of funding. And he looked at me, I'll never forget it, and said, go all the way. Do it. Go all the way. I said, man, a lot of things I can talk about. I don't need to talk about that. And he said, do it. So I did it.
I was recently going through some old pictures to find one of me and Charlie that I knew we took at that event. And not only did I find pictures of me and Charlie, but I found a video of me, Tucker, and Charlie speaking backstage right before Tucker went out. Tucker and I were talking. Charlie came over and interrupted for just a second. He says to Tucker, go Max. He interrupts the conversation because he has to say to Tucker something. And what was so important to him to tell Tucker was, go Max. Here it is.
Go Max.
It's quick. It just happens to be on tape. And it backs up what Tucker said.
So that's what Go Max means. That's what Go Max means. That was Charlie's request to Tucker when talking about that subject. Go Max. Congrats on, now you know. Congrats on 300,000. Thank you. Watched Dee Dee today with Bednars. He somewhat alluded to gathering data for something. Sounded like suing Candace. Any leg to stand on there? Congrats on 300,000. No. No leg to stand on there. That would be foolish. That would be a foolish thing. Blake could rehab. He's had a rough go the last couple of weeks. He could just as easily say, you know what? Let me just go back to analyzing videos, doing my thing, and people would eventually forget about all that, but he'd have to go back to commit to producing content and stay out of the drama of it and just focus on producing content. And when you get away from the drama, you naturally are going to begin to draw people in by what, he had some pretty excellent analysis along the way. Blake had some stuff along the way that, even if you didn't agree with it, at least made you stop and think. Yeah. 3 Mega now on TPUSA Make Heaven Crowded Tour. Played exact same unreleased AICK message to congregation days after the Big Bang. Source in my super chat from last week. Into Jurgen Matthias Awaken. 3 mega churches now on TPUSA Make Heaven Crowded Tour. Played the exact same unreleased AICK message. Oh, I didn't know that. Congrats on 300. Get well soon. Doing my best. I'm better today than I was yesterday. I'm hoping I'll wake up tomorrow and feel great. Do you use standard process whole food products? If you're sick, please find a chiro who uses SP. I don't know what SP means. Oh, standard process. Please use AC Carbamide or Immunoplex. Company has been around for 95 years. I don't know what any of that means. I use Kleenex, black seed oil, vitamin C, water, food. I don't know what all the rest of that means. The intro beat made me want to bust a rhyme. So I wrote something short. If you like, must be sang with your intro beat. Bounce, bounce, bounce. About EK and the ball in the email subject. I'm not going to add lyrics, but I appreciate you doing that. How perfect. My third month as a grand juror on the same day you hit 300,000. Congratulations. Absolutely love the show. Brilliant, kind, amazing, and humble. Praying many blessings over you and your fam. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. How can we find out what the DOD commissioned the explosives from AES for? And for you, congrats on 300,000. Well deserved, Sir Baron. Maybe a FOIA would work on that. Congrats on 300. Go Max. Ain't no And no, I ain't the OG Joe. No, JoJo Murr. I would never accuse you of being the original Joe. I remember the original Joe. I guarantee you she's watched since then. About a dime for each time my humble host claimed the humble host title. Side note, I loved Dre before you did. Much love. Well, then you should join the members channel and you could watch her live with your humble host. There's another dime for you on Friday, because she will be here on Friday. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Thank you for being a voice of logic, reason, and truth. Even when my voice is failing, you say that? You're welcome. Thank you for your kind comment. Your Majesty, King Baron, hold please, echoes now through our hood when the Aragon, the BC dog, puts his paws on the basketball or soccer ball, indicating he needs a break. Best line ever. Thanks for another great show. God bless the Colemans. You've trained your dog to put his paw on the ball when he needs a break? That's pretty remarkable. My dog, we do have her doorbell she rings when she needs to go out. That's as much training as, and she'll sit, and she'll give you a paw, and she'll give you the other paw. She's pretty good. She's a pretty good dog. I had somebody here today rerouting a vent in the crawl space, and I forgot the dog was in and out, in the backyard and all that. And so he was leaving, and I was like, I'm really sorry about the dog. He's like, your dog's great. Like she sniffed around a little bit, but she didn't bother me. Okay, good. Please sing happy birthday to Sawyer. Jesus loves you, Baron. I won't sing, but I will tell you, happy birthday, Sawyer. I'm not much of a singer, but happy birthday. Baron, congrats on 300,000. I am whelmed. Warms my heart. All I aim is whelming. Love the show. Love my 2 RBP purple shirts and hold please mug. I pray for you, your family, and our community every night. Jesus loves us all. He does indeed. He does indeed. That purple is a great purple, by the way. That's a great purple. I love my purple RBP hoodie. Tomorrow's the Feast of the Ascension. Christ opened heaven to all of humanity and ascended before his disciples. Primary ascension passages, Acts 1, 3 through 11, Luke 24, 50 to 53. A beautiful reminder to prepare our hearts for this holy feast. Christ is king indeed. Is that tomorrow? Has it already been 40 days? Wow. Since Easter? Man, time flies when you're having fun, guys. Congratulations, Mr. Coleman, on 300,000 subs. I'm having an awesome evening. My son passed BLC with a 96 average and made commandant list. Prayers he passes his board to make sergeant. Thanks for all you do. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, I'll pray for him. Absolutely. Sounds like an impressive young man you have there. And you should be very proud of him. Very, very proud of him. Thank you. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Humming also stimulates your vagus nerve. Pineal gland. What's a vagus nerve? I know what a pineal gland. Vagus nerve. That's a long nerve. It runs from your brain to your butt. Lungs, heart, liver, stomach, and intestines. Is that real? It's a big nerve. Yeah. How about that? All right, I'm going to stimulate the mess out of it tonight. Mrs. Coleman's just going to have to get over it. And next time she's like, can you do that some other time? Be like, ma'am. I'm stimulating my vagus nerve here. Can you hold it down over there? She's going to love it. She's going to love it. Say it's a pineal gland thing. You wouldn't understand. Actually, she would. She's smarter than I am. Congrats, GBC. Taking the road less traveled is a strength that more peeps should strive to develop. I appreciate your candor and ability to address difficult issues without resorting to name calling or belittling. Christ is king indeed. There's no need for it. I mean, we can all be adults. We can handle our disputes. I try to practice a lot of patience. I let people vent. I don't mind people venting. I think Gary vents. Let him vent a little bit. At a certain point, that's enough. Like, stop venting, grow up, let's move on. Or we're moving on without you, one or the other. But people get frustrated from time to time, and then, I used to say this at my old job when people get frustrated. I knew they said things about me from time to time that I probably wouldn't love if I heard. Um, but like Candace says, life's tough. Get a helmet. It is. And when you're working in close quarters with people, or you're working on tough issues on the same or even opposite teams, sometimes people clash and they get frustrated and say things. Okay, then let's move on. Let's hope you aren't afflicted with whatever AB Stuffy has, or Snuffy. Oh gosh, I hope I don't talk like that the rest of my life. I didn't realize she always talked like that. I'm not a big fan. I don't watch a lot of her stuff. Someone in the comments said she always talks like that. And I was like, no, she doesn't. And I went back and looked and I was like, oh my gosh, she does. I felt terrible. I was like, she just needs Sudafed. She just needs to be cleaned out. No, it's worse than that, guys. It's worse than that. And every show is better than the last. What a bulldog you are. Poor Gary. Please keep the Twitter wars in the show. Love it. Well, you are my lovey, so I guess I don't have a choice, do I? And can we get a Don't Be a Joe sweatshirt, please? I don't know if I want to commercialize that poor woman's name. Yes, of course you can get one. Come on. Sorry, Joe. I saw Tim Tams at the grocery outlet today in Central California. You said they were quite sweet, so I passed. Kim Carnes recorded Betty Davis eyes, by the way. I couldn't think of her name the other day. Kudos for all your hard work and 300,000. She had a raspy, smoky voice. She sounded like a lounge singer from the 70s, like pounding 3 packs of Reds a day, but beautiful singer. Beautiful singer. You know who else sounded like that? I can't remember her name either. The one who sang Turn Around. Turn Around. She had that same kind of voice. What's up, B? I missed the jar that you always used to use. It's so classic. Don't be a Joe. Yeah, I saw it in the cabinet today, and I thought, you know what? I haven't used this in a while. I haven't given up on my Fiji. This is not a product placement. I'm just pouring it into a high-class, high IQ jar. Congratulations on reaching 300,000. I've been with you since we were trying to reach 100,000. Much love to the Coleman family. Jesus Christ is king. You know what's interesting about that? So we had a $1,000 Amazon gift card giveaway, and I did. I sent it. She sent me the email. I said, here you go. And I've sent the directions on how to redeem the gift card. Never heard back. Never heard another word. The gift card's not there. Like, it's been claimed. But like, she's never commented again. That girl vanished. I remember who she is. I know her real name. Vanished. Like a fart in a whirlwind. Thoughts on Anta, meaning in Hebrew. I've seen the memes. I don't know what my thoughts are. It's kind of weird. Hope all the gifted membos will subscribe if they haven't. Jesus loves you. Christ is king. Indeed. That's all. Thank you. Emily the Silent. Oh, she speaks. She's not as silent as she claims. Oil of oregano, Dank's brand, Natural Factors on Amazon. That's it. Natural Factors. Let's see. Oil of oregano, Natural Factors. Found it. Much more affordable. I will be ordering that right now. Buy now. Certified organic too. Wow. Yep. Overnight delivery. 4 a.m. On the way. I'll be healthy in no time. I'll be healthy as a mule. Thank you. Couldn't think of the brand name. Aussies often turn names into slang with za endings, like Baron becoming Baza. Why do they do that? Why would you do such a thing? You already have poisonous snakes and big spiders. Why would you do such a thing? Za? Baza? You know, the Brits are why Richard became Rick, became Dick. Why William became Will, became Bill. That's a British thing. They changed the first letters of words. I have no idea why. But Baron. Not sure if humans same, but I'm a veterinarian, and we call immature bands, and they indicate more acute inflammation or infection. 0 in dogs and cats is healthy. Oh, good. Then I'm healthy as a horse. Obviously, I got my blood drawn before I developed this cold. Hello, Mr. Baron. I'm so glad you and Candace still talk about Charlie. Take this as a thank you from a 24-year-old in California. Christ is king indeed. Every time I go to California, like when I'm not there, I think, why would anyone live there? Like it's a police state. They have high taxes, a bunch of crazy lunatics. And then you go and you're like, oh, this is why people live here. The weather. Weather's always perfect every day. Now I get it. It's a warble. Too overblown to be a chuckle. Oh. Edge. Thank you. I had no idea. The toddler in that pic has acromegaly, gigantism. I don't think that's him. I think it's someone else's kid. Can we get justice for those kids though? Like their faces weren't, but their bodies were splayed all over the internet. Justice for those random kids. Probably a stock photo. Has anyone run a reverse search on that? Probably like a Getty image. Congrats, 300. I'm here for the high IQ. Christ is king indeed. TechScal Sophie, you have a high IQ. I can tell. Pray for my husband and me as we will be flying to D.C. to speak to lawmakers about the No Pain Act for veterans as my daughter's book was published. Congratulations on your daughter's book being published, Amy. Congratulations on using the proper English there. Pray for my husband and me. A lot of people would have said I. Pray for my husband and I. Don't do that. It's me. Me. Take my husband and out of the sentence. Pray for me. Now put the husband and back in. Pray for my husband and me. Thank you. You've done us all a service. And good luck. I love your show, Bear, and all the work you put into it. I also love when you branch out into theology. It's spot on, even though I'm not Catholic, but fellow brother in Christ. God bless. God bless you as well. Christ is king indeed. I branch out when people ask. I don't mind answering questions. I don't like arguing about it. Not my thing. Once AK Boyer EK became involved with TPUSA, it was the turning point that led down the path of Charlie's demise. Christ is king indeed. I hate to say that I agree with you. Although I'm beginning to soften on the Boyer kid. He just strikes me as like a frat boy who probably drinks too much and struggles with his weight. Like he doesn't strike me as diabolical like some of the other ones. But maybe. Weed prices, chubby finger. The market is right. As always, the gifts interfere with the chat view. I'm going to disable them on my channel. YouTube needs to stop trying to be TikTok. Tell them TikTok is dead. I'll look into this. I had no idea that gifts existed. I don't even know what that means. That must be new because I've never heard this before tonight. Baron, so proud to say I've been here since almost the beginning. I can't remember a lot, but you, Danks, and Jesse, congrats on 300,000. Your kids will appreciate you when their parents, Christ is king indeed. I hope so. Hola, B. Hola, just say Julie. Congrats on 300,000. Been here since at least 9 of 2025. Danks recommended brand oil of oregano by Natural Factors. He stressed to ensure it included that word. Feel better. Love you platonically. Christ is king indeed. I love you more platonically. Yeah, I've ordered it. You must have sent that before I did the big order moments ago. B, 29 days sober now. Look at you. 30. 30's like most people's big milestone. Like you make it 30, make the rest of your life. Don't quit on us tonight. By the way, thank you for your reply to my email. I took the site down and used some of the code to build a site for onboarding new staff. Way better, less toxic idea. Love you. No home. I love you more. For those that don't know, James was developing a kind of like a site for for fans of the show, but my experience with that, they've been awfully toxic. And I'm trying to not say much more than that. Baron, in the bottom of your heart, do you think Charlie was so naive he didn't know what was happening around him, including the woman he chose as his wife? No, I don't think he was that naive. I don't. I think I don't know if he knew the extent of what was happening around him, but I think he, particularly towards the end, I think he probably had clocked Erica pretty well. Agree about sleeping in clothes, the horror. Yes, Teresa Better Life. I don't know why people do it. Like, give yourself a week without it. You will never go back. Never. Bro, we got C word, not that C word. The 19 C word. 2.0 and World War III light before GTA 6. But I hear it's on its way. I've never played a lick of GTA. I've never even seen it played in my presence. I'm aware it exists. I'm aware there's a fan cult around it. That's not something I've been waiting. G-Dog. Been following Audrey Henson, a.k.a. Dre, for a long time. Oracle and the Ellisons are as bad as DJT. Can't wait till Friday. Stay secure. Christ is king indeed. I'm looking forward to the conversation. I very much am looking forward to it. Pretty much everybody else I've had on the guest show is somebody I've talked to and interacted with, or at least know something about them. Dre, I don't. I don't. Natural Factors. Oil of oregano is what Danks uses. I got it on Amazon. It was delivered overnight. Prayers, you get to feeling better. I'm looking forward to it. I was a professional photographer. The Turkey Tom apartment shots were taken with a strobe high-powered flash using bounce flash, pointing the light up to the ceiling. White balance is perfect, and these soft shadows prove it. You sound like a professional photographer. Oh, I wouldn't say all that at a party. Like, that's not party talk. That's not cocktail party talk. People think you're weird. It's like when someone's an accountant and they assume everybody else is, and they start talking about Schedule C deductions. No. We're it's a cocktail party. Calm down. But thank you. That's good. That's good. Excellent for the high IQ outfit. It's just a gentle suggestion. Looking forward to Dre Friday. I'm starting to think the redheads are being prioritized on the guest list. If not, get Theo live on set soon. Epic show. Who's Theo? Theo live on set soon. Who's Theo? You know what? My wife told me it bothers her. Theo Vaughn? No, surely. Maybe. I'll ask. My wife said it bothers her when I'm asking myself a question like, I don't know what that means. And she knows the answer. And she's like, I want to jump through the screen and like give you the answer. Are redheads being prioritized? Who have I had? I had Zach. He didn't know it, but he was a redhead before he showed up. But he acknowledges it now, I think. Who else? Coach is not a redhead. Decidedly not a redhead. Danks. He's not a redhead. But Dre is, yeah. Can't help it. Alex Murdaugh case overturned today. That's correct. I lost 2 dogs to cancer in April. Agree. Yeah, there's something going on with this dogs and cancer business. Dogs shouldn't get cancer. That's man-caused, in my opinion. Allegedly. I wonder if AK wife has any idea who she really is and who she and her kids are surrounded by. Should AK ever try to go his own way? Oh, I don't know. I'm leaving his wife out of it. She's a private person. Your Majesty, King B, Danks member show, brilliant. Thank you. I agree. Your gift from Edge. Loved that you tried Tim Tams I sent on air. Olson is my real name. You're the best honorary Aussie mate. Hope you do come to Oz. Yeah, I worry. You guys have a bad habit of locking people out of the country. You banned Candace. And when Djokovic was playing tennis at a high level, you guys banned him. Wouldn't let him in the country to defend his title. Not too weird about that. I'm weirded out by that. Vets are like good doctors. They foolishly trust their teachers and institutions that tell them what's best. Oh my goodness. Came in late and hearing the grandbaby news. Congrats. What a beautiful blessing. Thank you, Jenna. Yeah, I announced that on the last show, I believe, or maybe no, I didn't do a Sunday show. I guess it would have been the last show, or maybe last week. I'm not sure. But thank you. Very excited. We're very excited. Already have a name picked out. Can't tell you, but we already have a name picked out. Well, I don't have a name picked out. My child has a name picked out. Congrats on 300,000. Thank you. 4 months, man. You've been a member since I didn't think I'd had a member show for 4 months, but thank you. But Baron, you were made for this moment on so many levels. Congrats on 300,000. Been here since 2000. You've been around a long time. Definitely agree about the vets, and I'm just read Big Pharma's putting the spike protein into our cat and dog vaccines. Really? Vet just gave my dog the wrong vaccine the other week. It was scary. I didn't know that was a thing. Why would they give it to dogs and cats? My family got scrounged by Washington County, Utah, higher ups, so they sued and won. Big real estate case ended badly for Washington County. I'll email you the details. I'm also an RN. Barbara, why do we have so many nurses in the audience? Got a memo floating down on someone's head. So Charlie was cannibalized, allegedly, in my opinion. Ooh. Targeted killing, like the Titanic. Man, I love Titanic conspiracies. There's 2 big ones. I love them both. Gary, 286, RBC, 300,000, Cope and Seed, Gary. Yeah, I think more importantly, it's like views per episode. That's where Gary's really struggling. Hope you feel better. I do too. Thank you. The movie In the Bedroom or EF in the Curtains. Which one's more creepy? I vote Curtains. If there's ever a biopic on her, I hope they call it In the Curtains. And the cover image of the movie is her like turning around in the curtains. Please make this a reality. Somebody make the biopic. I want her with the November Renaissance, with the dressed up in red, white, and blue, scantily clad outfit with dual pew-pews. I want the her going for Miss State USA like 6 times, but telling people she won on her first time. I want it all. I want to see the missing 8 months. Speculate on the missing 8 months. Speculate away, movie makers. The unauthorized biopic. In the Curtains, featuring Dr. Erica Kirk. CIA just raided Tulsi's office, where she was in the process of declassifying JFK and MK Ultra files and seized them against the president's order. Not surprising. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, I saw that some congresswoman was like, I'm going to send a strongly worded letter. I'm like, yeah, come on. I will prepare to file a motion for a subpoena. Okay. You do that. Linda here. I lost my only grandson 7 years ago. Enjoy every minute you're given with your grandchild. Congrats on 300,000. Love your shows. Jesus loves you. Golly, Linda. I'm really crushed by that. That is just devastating. I know how excited we are. Sorry to hear that. Thank you for that. Thank you, Spockintosh. Paramount Craptical blocked me on X for posting an AI video of him as Curly from the Stooges. I only commented on 2 of his posts. That's all it took. Ha ha. Makes me happy. Go Max. Love you, dude. Love you more. I would probably block you if you posted an AI video of me as Curly from the Three Stooges, for being honest. Curious if you ever saw the 1989 movie, True Believer, with James Woods and Robert Downey Jr. Great movie. And your investigation on the CK case reminds me of that movie. Thank you for what you do. Congrats on 300,000. Christ is king indeed. I've never seen that, but I like James Woods and Robert Downey Jr. I think they're both excellent actors. Have you ever seen what was the Robert Downey Jr. movie? Less Than Zero. That was a wild movie. That was about the same time, late 80s. I meant to say the visual timeline is for the audience or fetch sloppers. May be confused about the different departments or dates. Some people are visual. Oh, yes, they are. Some people are very visual. I would love to be gifted a membership. Yeah, wouldn't we all? So the way the membership gifts work is if you're in the live chat and someone gifts it, it just sort of falls down on random people's heads. So you just got to keep showing up and maybe someone will gift you. P.S. My daughter's now going around the house saying, my B. Thanks for the earworm. No problem, my B. Yes. Is Daisy still on team? Of course. Talked to her several times today. Still killing it. Congrats on the success. Love the pod and share with everyone I know. 30-year aircraft mechanic. If you ever have any questions, just ask. Christ is king indeed. If I ever have an aircraft mechanic issue, you'll be the first person I call. I would never trust my airplane mechanic problems to anyone else. Didn't WCSO say the video was written over, so no video of him turning himself in? Yeah, it sounds like they lied. Oh, or to be fair, it's possible what they meant was the specific things you asked for weren't available, and now they've been. I don't know. Sounds like they lied. Allegedly. Can you please play "Good Citizen" by IMA? No, let me tell you. Stop asking me to play that. I'm not going to play it. I'm only saying that because I've had like 30 people ask me to play this, and I'm not going to play it. Even if I wanted to listen to it on my own, I'm not going to play it on air. I don't know that person. I don't know who wrote the song. I don't know what the song's about. So I'm not going to play it sight unseen. If it has any kind of AI creation in it, that creator probably will be taken down at some point. And then I got to go back and find this episode and remove it. I'm not going to play it, but I appreciate it. Daisy can track down hard to get former FBI Dan Bongina on record saying 2.5-hour journey for officer to arrive at Washington County on Fox. I asked her about that today, actually, but I didn't remember who said it. Dan Bongina. Hard to spell it correctly when you say it, though. 2.5-hour journey to Washco. Duly noted. Thank you. I knew it was somebody. I just couldn't remember who said it. I was thinking Cash said it. Almost 12 years clean. Christ is why and king. Indeed. Thank you. 12 years. That's wonderful. Wonderful news. I don't give a damn. 300,000. Next up will be 33. They try to be ominous with their horrible and blatant symbolism. Better late than never. And so proud of our Baron. John 14:30 and 2 Corinthians 4:4. And what? You left me on a cliffhanger, Dom. Thank you, Dom. If you've not checked out Dom's podcast, they're great. Now, get a pen and paper. She moves quickly, and there's a lot of information. She takes like 5 episodes worth of information and gives it to you in one. She moves very quickly. You got to pay attention. She's great, though. She's great. Feed pets real meat. Carnivore because of arthritis. My GSD was not able to. It's a GSD. Great Dane. Great stinking Dane. I don't know what a GSD is. Was not able to stand walk. Vet said keep in crate except for potty. Now she's carnivore and healed. No kibble or junk food. Highly recommend. That's amazing. Feed pets real meat. I heard Ian had been feeding his dog Gigi organic chicken. Good eats if you can get it. New member here, try Micro Ingredients brand oil of oregano with black seed oil. But I already have black seed oil. I have a brand I like a lot. It's worked wonders in the Coleman household. Camp Coleman takes a lot of black seed oil. Anytime anything pops up, we start plowing the kids with black seed oil. I gave my 5-year-old 2 doses, one yesterday and one today. Thank you, B. Couldn't TR then also testify? No, I didn't send that Discord message myself. He could at trial, but that would mean he's testifying. And as you know, if you're the defendant, you are not compelled to testify. And I don't know that he would want to begin waiving his Fifth Amendment right as early as the preliminary hearing. You can't jump in and out. You either have it or you don't. So in all likelihood, we will not hear from him at the preliminary stage. Will you be working on any Father's Day high IQTs? Maybe. I am sick, so this may be a fuzzy IQ question. Why doesn't the list of bookings show TR's name? Am I missing something? No, you're not missing anything at all. He wasn't booked there. He was booked in Utah County. That was a list from Washington County. Good question. I should have been more clear on that. Wow, Allison, thank you. That's very kind of you. Bonus to say congrats for 300,000 and the new grandbaby. Christ is king indeed. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Christ is king indeed. And that was very generous. Thank you. Go Max Baron. Thank you for being strong when facing challenges. Not worried about any challenges. How can you? You got glitter on your face. Or is it on my face? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Baron, congrats on the 300,000. Yep. Got it on the oil of oregano. Already ordered it. Hopefully it'll be here by 4 a.m. That's what Amazon said. You mean men can still function with a man cold? My husband is so grounded. Oh, man. Did I get him in trouble? I didn't function last night. Did that tell you anything? I didn't do a show. I had stuff around the house, but no, I didn't do a show last night. So, yes, they can still function. I did work out yesterday. But I did not do a show. Charlie's son's second birthday is tomorrow, May 14th. Feeling a bit sad for him and his sister. I hope they will understand how much we all cared about his dad. Yeah, you know what's so sad about that? I don't think they'll ever know him, like ever remember him. Do you remember anything from when you were 1? I don't know. Maybe like a little flash of something, but and the girl's 3. I don't remember much from when I was 3. I mean, a little flash here and there. But it's almost like, do I just remember the stories people tell me of when I was 3, or do I actually remember what happened? That's sad. Thank you for sharing that. Yep, got it. We got that. Natural Factors on the way. He recommended Sprouts Band. No. He said he got it at Sprouts. He said he got it at Sprouts. I remember. No, now you're saying Strauss. I think you guys all heard him wrong. He got it at Sprouts. It was Natural Factors. I remember that. Humble host. Thank you for letting us know you got your blood drawn. Yes, Bleeding Heart MG, I did. I can rest assured Mrs. Coleman will bug you enough about the results. Blessings to you and yours for Ascension Day tomorrow. Christ is king indeed. I gave the results on air. I probably shouldn't have. I know I shouldn't have because my sister's a nurse, Nurse Casey. And she called me and she's like, with this and this, it probably means you're dehydrated. I'm like, hey, knock it off. Not dehydrated. I drink plenty of Fiji. Yes. Now I'm killing that dehydration. One fancy high IQ mug worth at a time. The only thing that was high was cholesterol. I'm not worried about that. That's bogus. The cholesterol scam. Not a fan. You're not going to fool me with that one. Okay, I confess. I don't get X occasionally for fun. I get on daily just to mess with Gary and others, but it is fun to me. Okay, you got me. So I agreed. It's not fun. There's nothing fun about X. It's a nightmare. Matt Costello podcast. You talking about Zach Costello? Talked about the Tennessee factory that blew up over owner Zion TPS USA affiliated long-winded. Watch later. It wasn't long-winded. I watched it today. Wasn't long-winded at all. If you watch Zach Costello at 1.5 speed, it sounds like me at normal speed. He's so deliberate, and I am not. I just say stuff. I just ordered the Holy Mackerel sweatshirt and both C mugs. For some reason, YouTube won't let me type the C word out. What mug has the C word? We don't say the C word. I didn't realize it was a bad word. Feel better, my B. I don't know why YouTube. I don't even know what C word you're trying to say, but I don't know why YouTube would be filtering that word, whatever word it is. We have a hold please mug. Do we have another mug? Have to look. Hi, Zealots Den. Love you, Baron. Got you. Thank you. Good eye, Baron. Good eye, Baron. Have you surpassed Pierced Organ yet on YouTube? You mean the Spotify charts? I don't know. I have to go look. Podcast charts, Spotify. Yeah, I took Sunday off, so that's going to hurt me because they just, it's all what have you done for me lately? So it probably fell a little bit. Yeah, see, I'm at 30 and he's at 28 now. Great. I have to do like 5 shows a day to catch up. He does 5 days a week. I only do 4, so I'm going to count that as a win. AK should have pled his case and explained why he is sponge worthy, just like Sideburns guy. Should have to plead his case. Well, Mrs. AK may not approve of him pleading his case. Baron, did you see about the CIA season? Yep, I did. Do you think it's legit or red herring? They were never going to release them to begin with. I think that's probably more accurate. I mean, think EK had the final approval of CK resigning. I think she alone was the stamp of notary of his demise. Betrayal of the heart, evil. So that allegedly that assumes there was a plan. That assumes she was in on the plan. But if there was a plan, which I think there was, if she was in on it, which I think you're right, she would have probably had to be one of the ones to give the okay. Thank you for that. But Baron, thank you for all you do from SNJ. Sick also, get rest and hydrate. Congrats on 300,000. Christ is king indeed. Zach, not Matt, my mistake. I'm going to call him Matt from now on, and he won't understand why, but that's okay. Congrats on 300,000 and grandbaby number 1 of at least 40. Thank you. Christ is king indeed. Total accent, sir. Sorry, but not hillbillyish. You think I have a southern accent? I'm going to start talking like this. I'll start talking like Erica, because she does not. And then you won't know if I have a southern accent. Thank you, Wayne. Same place. Coming your way, Randall. Coming your way. Good sir, ignore the haters. They're all named Joe. Feel better, get some rest. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. I have no haters. I have people jealous of success. Hey, Baron, thanks so much for the book, Rex. My husband finally agreed to go to Mass with me on Saturday. Please pray for him to see the truth. Christ is king indeed. Megan, I will pray for you. That is an amazing development. An amazing development. Absolutely pray for you, Megan. Thank you. Can you please re-explain why Blakey is on Candace's desk? She doesn't even acknowledge it's the funniest thing ever. She cracks me up. She's in her own, man. She's having fun again. It's been a while since I've seen her have this much fun podcasting. It's been great to watch. That counter is the number of days that Blake has not released the video of Charlie Kirk saying that he appoints Erica as his successor. You know, they released that AI voice video, allegedly AI voice video. And allegedly, if they do have a video, it's allegedly AI. And he won't release the video. He says they have it, but he's not releasing it. So, congrats to 300,000 from a Germany in decline. Some days ago, I installed a new Wi-Fi, named it Your Humble Host. Thank you, and keep going, Max. Great. Now people are going to think I'm in German. I have a kid taking German, so maybe he can speak with you. Which one's taking German? Oh, yeah. Maybe he can speak with you one day. I think it's the youngest. I've got kids taking all languages. We got it. You never know what you're going to need. So I got to have somebody that speaks every language. We got Spanish, Chinese, French, German. Yeah, cover them all. You never know. Never know. I can't have them all taking the same language. Is the 0400 time that the police use as evidence for his arrest the 12th actually in UTC time? No. As for on the 12th equates to 10 p.m. No, it's not. It's local time. It's not been addressed. That's a good question. Breaking news, China summit and Iran war. Is it breaking news like right now? Because you're in all caps. I don't see any breaking news on. I mean, they're meeting, but is that breaking news? We knew they were going over there. Such a different Trump. Remember last time he hated China. Now he's over there with like a whole delegation of trillionaires. What a weird world. Lester, thank you. Dr. Caitlin Chikachowski. Look up sinus pressure relief. Duly noted. I don't call the Fed slop spewers liars. I just wish they'd tell the truth more often. I held out hope for Benny Johnson, but after today, I can't excuse his attack on Thomas Massey. He's dead to me. So sad. I have no idea why you were holding out hope on Benny Johnson. No idea whatsoever. Like, I don't. Utah County jails in Spanish Fork. I trust the guy who saw him at 2 to 3 a.m. with my life. That time of night, you can make the drive easily in 3 hours. Well, then that's consistent with what time they said he arrived. I think they said he got there at 1:58. So, I mean, there's No scandal there. That's very consistent. Really are worried about Charlie's kids, though. Yeah. I am too. I don't want to say what just came to my mind. The oil of oregano is something you should use if you get a tick bite, too. I heard the ticks are bad this year. I keep seeing people posting stuff about them. King B, Ray B, Ray Bay. Ray Bay Bay. Greetings from Mexico. Christ is King. Indeed. I'm a big fan. Thank you for your amazing work. I need a high IQ outfit. Well, buenos noches in Mexico. See? See? Sir Baron, my employer, will collab with Greg Laurie, despite my protest. Ugh, I tried to warn them, but I fear it will backfire. By the way, that word in Hebrew means scam, lie, fake, hoax. Congrats on 300,000. I have seen that that's what that word means. I'm scared to death of saying that word on air. People getting weird about it. The Greg Laurie thing, man. Why would anyone collaborate with a guy that's being sued for the things he's being sued for? Iron studies are more than ferritin. We look at TIBC, iron total, transferrin. Your MCV and hemoglobin were normal. No need for iron studies. I would ask your doctor to calculate prevent score regarding high cholesterol LDL. I'm not worried about cholesterol. Cholesterol makes you smart. The brain's made of cholesterol. People with low cholesterol die sooner than people with high cholesterol. Don't blame me. I'm just here. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger. Higher cancer rates and everything. Have you figured out how to send money? Oh, have figured out how to send. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Steam inhalation with pine buds does magic. Pine buds are illegal in the state of Tennessee, sir. 15 minutes. We don't have buds here. Nope. Since you've dumped Rumble, I can no longer post anonymously. It took 3 times for me to get my earlier post out because it kept telling me to try again. So unfortunately, I had to abbreviate things. That's okay, Melissa Goodrow. And if that is, apparently that is your real name. Watching you Google the vagus nerve and asking, is that real? Made me burst out laughing. My 5-year-old said that guy is pretty funny looking. Oh gosh, I'm funny looking. Yeah, that's that's a weird thing to be in the body, right? Congrats on 300,000. I'm looking forward to the interview with Dre Dossier. Love from Sylvia. Thank you, Sylvia. Sub 304 here, September 12th. Wow, what an incredible ride. Talk about how one event can change many lives. Congratulations on 300,000. Changing minds with truth and honesty, one show at a time. Love this community you created. I didn't create it. You've created the community, Alpaca Renee. You have been around from the beginning. I think you were one of my very first super chatters when I finally turned them on. Everybody was like, turn your super chats on. I was like, why? They ain't going to read them. I finally did. But thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't know how much it would make me feel in touch with the community to go through these at the end of every show. Isn't the Miranda date time objective? And won't it come out sooner or later regardless? Yeah, they're getting in the front of it now, but it's not a fact you can interpret. Yeah? Not a good fact for them. Look, I hold out the distinct, albeit I think low, possibility that we're wrong on this. But I don't think we're wrong on this. I just don't. I mean, I think we're right on this. But, big deal if we are. But I don't think we're. Jesse on Fire is the other redhead. Oh, yeah. I did have Jesse on Fire on a member show. He did a good job. That was a fun show. Yo, Baron, my first time in live. Christ is King indeed, Lester. Congrats to you, your amazing wife, your awesome RN sis on 300,000. Agree with doing away with live chat gifts. You were my first YouTube memberships. Can't wait for Dre on show. You both do great work. Thank you. Yeah, I've been a fan of the stuff I've seen of her. Processed dog food is poison. Making dog food at home is as affordable as store-bought. Less than zero is one of my faves. Oh, the movie. Yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie. From what I remember, I was like 10 when I saw it, but I think I saw it again in my teenage years, but it was excellent. See, this is what happens. Someone drops a Mimbo right on your head. Total Eclipse of the Heart. Bonnie Tyler. Yes. The raspy voice singer I was thinking of. I heard she was an RCA backup singer, and they were like, fine, let her cut a record. And that was on the record, and she just became an absolute banger. That's a banger song. Bonnie Tyler. Thank you. Thank you, Baron. Congrats, my first membership. Love this high IQ, generous, prayerful community. Teared up at Go Max video. Jesus loves you and all. It was honestly weird. I haven't seen that video in months, and it was weird to see him live and candid again. You see videos of him on stage. You see videos of him in his podcast, but it's weird. Honestly, it's weird to see him live again, just in a candid setting like that. You don't see it often. The song everyone is suggesting about our corrupt government, greatest ally. It's a person that sings it. Let's do it on your own time. It talks about Charlie. It's good. Okay, thank you. I'll check it out. First ever super chat. Been watching since your interview on Candace. Congrats on 300,000. Thank you for all the laughs and high IQ info. Christ is king indeed. You must have been one of those 11,000 people who subscribed that night. I came home and I was like, what happened? And then all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah. Yeah. Edge. Now we know the behind the scenes of 8 Children well. Yeah, it's been known to happen. IMA is a friend of Ian Carroll's. I think that's why everyone's obsessed. Citizen is a stellar song, though. I'll check it out. I mean, but I can't play songs on command. There's all kinds of copyright issues and everything that goes along with it. So unless you know who the person is and you've talked to them to say, have you copyrighted this? Am I going to get struck for this? You don't want to get the strikes because YouTube gets angry. You get too many strikes, you're a figment of their imagination. My husband and I watch every night. Thank you, Megs and Cheese. Cantarona TB. Thank you. That was a very generous contribution. I'm a vet and had to move to ER medicine because think much of our preventative medicine is doing the opposite. Seems to me allergies and cancer rise at the same rate as number of vaccinations. Congrats on 300,000. Been here since Google Trends days. Never miss a show. That's the rumor. I mean, that's kind of what I've been reading is the more you try to prevent your dogs getting sick, the sicker they get. That's not glitter on your face. It's gray hair. Ivan, you're lucky I like you. A lot. Very lucky. Milton Berle was a tiny hat comedian back in the day. Gary Milton Berle, it was a joke. Oh. Duly noted. Thank you. Humble host, last question. If TR forced to post Discord message, you say he could testify saying so, but also that he probably won't testify regarding ability to say he didn't post it at all. Thoughts? Thank you for that's precisely what I'm saying. Those were my thoughts. Even if he was forced to, we're not going to find out because he's not going to testify. Not at the preliminary hearing. Maybe they're holding that as a whole card for the trial. I don't know. Wow, Vic. Thank you. A man of few words. A man of no words. Thank you. Very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. EK Pick Kids is IHG Fort Huachuca. Hotel room, carpet, couch. Then whose kids are they? Because those aren't her kids. At least one of them's not. So whose kids does she have at the hotel? I have to check that out. Check that out. Gary Impractical is a man who plays with pew-pews. His attempt to sound like he knows lawyering makes me think TPUSA folk wrote this and had him post it. I've got a confession to make. So one time Gary posted a link to some grok question he was throwing up there to try to, I shouldn't say this, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who did it. I can't believe no one said it. I kept waiting for days for somebody to say it, and I kept checking. No one said it. I guess no one looked. But he posted a link to his grok analysis on some question that he was trying to prove somebody wrong on. But when you clicked on it, it gave you his whole grok history. I don't think TPUSA is the one writing his posts. Because I saw a lot of like, Grok, please draft a post that makes the following points. There was a bunch of them too, like dozens. But that was Gary, wasn't it? Well, I think it was Gary that did that. I could be saying that wrong. It was one of the people that I was watching, and I didn't particularly care for that person. I think it was him. Because I kept going back over. It was months ago, so I can't remember. But I kept going back over and over, like waiting for somebody to say something. Like, I can't be the only one that clicked the link and like scrolled. I shouldn't have said it was him because I don't remember. I think it was him. I could probably go back and find the tweet. I doubt he's deleted it. It's probably still there. Dan Bongina on Megyn Kelly, September 15th, spoke about Tyler in St. George around the 5:30 mark in video. Yeah. Duly noted. Pinch of pink salt to water for hydration. We use pink salt in this very home. Camp Coleman is full of pink salt. Remember, question everything. Trust no one. Will do. Oil of oregano is so powerful. It healed my daughter who was on the verge of pneumonia a few weeks ago. I will always keep it on hand now. Well, that's good to know. I hope to have mine in hand when I wake up. I died Saturday night during emergency surgery for over 2 minutes. What? Then had emergency surgery again Monday after a huge clot was found on my lungs. God brought me back twice. I have missed our nightly shows, but catching up in ICU in Chattanooga. Christ is king indeed. Melinda, you have a purpose in life. Find it. The Lord wanted you here with us. Holy mackerel. I got to ask, what'd you see? Any lights? What was it? I'm fascinated by near-death experiences. In fact, I fell down on like a 3-month hole one time where the only thing I listened to podcast-wise was near-death experiences. It was months of it. So if you feel froggy down the road and experience anything, let me know. I'm really curious. But find your purpose, girl. You got one. I don't know what it is, but find it. Get right in his draft and look around. There's something there. Congratulations for still being on the right side of the dirt. C equals Starbucks, Folgers, etc. I know it's weird. Oh, coffee. Why can't you say coffee? YouTube is now filtering coffee? That's weird. I'll put it on the approved list. You can override their stuff by putting it on approved. Ice cream eaten over the sink in shame. Supposed to be on a diet. It was great. That is all. Mr. Calm. You shouldn't be on a diet at all. Meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar, and just eat until you're full. You can't get fat on that diet. Like, that's an anti-fat diet. Meat and vegetables, like a healthy amount. Nuts and seeds, that's your supplement. Meat and vegetable, nuts, seeds, some fruit. So get you a couple apples a day, maybe a handful of strawberries, a handful of blueberries. Little starch. Dial the starch way back. A little supplement here and there. And no sugar. You can eat till your heart's content. You'll never be it just melt off you. Melt off you. You don't need to be on a diet. Just change what you eat. Better have a kid learning Hebrew. I'll pass. R.I.P. Granny. RBP. Did I say that? I don't remember saying that. Member for 4 months. Thank you. Wow. Nick S. probably believes this. I did not know there was a member page 4 months ago. Apparently, I didn't know that. Nick S. probably believes his success, but who is platforming and paying for everything? Remember the older man who gave Nick the info for the Minnesota daycare fraud? Gives me Bill Montgomery vibes. I worry Nick is naive and will end up hurt. Oh, that's a dark thought. But yeah, somebody handed him that story. The question is who and why. I think I know the why. They were trying to stop the money from going to Somalia. Your comment last night calling people sleeping in PJs being psycho had me laughing. A gas leak in my house in the middle of the night had me sprinting outside in the buff. I was 26 and snowing. First time I wish I had PJs. Where do you live that is 26 in May? Oh, you must be in the Southern Hemisphere, man. No, these are regular dollars, American dollars. Where are you? 26 and snowing. You must be on a mountain or something. Well, it was worth it because night in the odds. Now, here's a secret in the buff. Put a pair of sweatpants on the floor next to where you go to sleep at night. That way, if you have to get up in the middle of the night to confront somebody or to run out of your house from a gas leak, those extra 2 or 3 seconds of pulling up your Adidas sweatpants is not going to hold you back that long. But yeah, that's I bet you did wish you had PJs. Gas leak's scary. EK attempts to trademark his name and signature. Parents filed to stop, saying she wants to subvert the family trust. It's all pending. Show me the documents. If you know this, there has to be a document. We can't just take word of mouth on this. That's what I'm saying. Email me the document. Start a podcast and show the document. Like somebody, if this is true, and I'm not saying it's not, but if it's true, there has to be some sort of documentary evidence. What started this? Why do people think this? It's not that I disbelieve you. It's just I want to see the proof. I had a near-death experience when my son was born. Changed my life. I saw loved ones through a haze across a river. The colors were beyond real. Jesus told me I had to go back and raise my son. Okay, Teresa, you got a purpose. I believe that with these people with near-death experiences. Like, you were sent back for a reason. Because it's clearly better there. I was listening to one near-death experience, and the woman was jet skiing or tubing or something. Anyway, she ended up dead. Whatever it was dragged her underwater for a long distance, and she ended up dying. And she has this experience, and she comes face to face with the Almighty, and he informs her she has to go back, and she was devastated. She was like, "What are you talking about? This is like, why would I ever want to leave this place?" And then she came back. She'd been here for like 20 or 30 years since. And now she's like, now I see why. Because all the things that have come up that I had to take care of, that I uniquely was able to take care of, that he obviously knew that I was needed here. And it was a beautiful story. I believe those stories. They touch me. They really do. Guys, thank you. This has been a wonderful evening. Wednesdays are a great night. I know a lot of people are at church. I've tracked audience numbers across days and weeks and months and years, and we're down about 10 or 15% on Wednesday. I count those. Those are my Baptist friends. Those are my Southern Baptist friends. They're all at church. They catch up the next day. But for us non-Baptists, we meet on Wednesdays here at the Real Bear Podcast. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. But I will be back tomorrow night. I don't know what time, probably 6-ish, give or take. Maybe as late as 7. We went late tonight, but probably 6 to 7, somewhere in there. Member show Friday, Dre Dossier. Very much looking forward to that. Sounds like a lot of you are as well. So please join me for that if you're a member. If you're not a member, consider a membership. It's a great way to support the program. I'm a member to a lot of channels. I rarely get a chance to watch their member shows because I'm doing so much work for this show. But it makes me feel good that I know I'm giving them a support. And I did watch Danks' member show the other day. I turned it on, and it happened to be a member show he was doing, and I sat there and watched it. Great. But it's interesting because member shows typically are a little different feel than a regular podcast that people do. And so you just get to know them a little more as a person, and it's a little more fun. There's a lot of fun. But it's a great way to support the program, support your favorite creators so that they can keep showing up and keeping you informed and entertained and keep the community active and have a good time together. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. I do. For those of you on the Grumble side that are wanting to see it come back, I'm going to continue working with them. I'm going to try to get the major issue and one smaller issue solved. And if we can get that solved, we'll get that back up and running. But in the meantime, we're going to hold off on that until we can get it solved. But once we do, we'll be back on that side as well. Don't forget, this is important. Tomorrow, Feast of the Ascension, a perfect day to remember. Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And I look forward to being back here in 20-ish hours, give or take. I hope you join me. Thank you.